Bring back the winds.
Good evening, Arima. Good evening, Arima. Let me ask you to get ready for our national anthem and prayer. Those who are outside, to the hall. I want to ask everyone right where you are to stand for the national anthem of Trinidad and Tobago and to remain standing for our prayer. And as our political leader says, we put God in front and we walk behind. And we are walking to victory in this general election 2025. Please stand for the national anthem.
Forged from the love of liberty in the fires of hope and prayer, with boundless faith in our destiny, we solemnly declare, side by side we stand, highlands of the blue Caribbean Sea, this our native land, we pledge our lives to thee. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God
doesn't perform as well as religious board schools. And she is concerned because there are no schools close to her, my constituent this evening, to send her kids to, other than the government schools, and she wants better for her kids. I was so happy to be able to tell her about our plans for education. Our plans, simple and effective, but never thought of in the last 10 years, to be able to incentivize teachers in all schools so that you don't have to fear, boy, I'm in this school and the teachers, they don't come. Teachers will be incentivized and teachers will be rewarded for the best results of their children. Parents will be able to have a more positive, a more well-rounded role in their children's education in the schools. My constituent who was concerned about her child's well-being in the school, we will have psychologists, doctors, police efforts in schools so that her child's education will be not only of a better quality no matter the school that she goes to, but it will be well-rounded as well. We will be able to produce the next generation of Trinidad and Tobago that is well-rounded, that has opportunities ahead of them, who will be able to positively contribute to our society. Nothing to me matters more than our children, and nothing to the UNC will matter more than making sure our children have the foundation that they need from primary school, from secondary school, and even opportunities for jobs going forward. I was so happy to be able to answer every single one of my constituents who stopped me this evening, especially the ones who may not have been on board before, but I keep saying they are fed up. They need change. We will bring the change. And I bring it to every single one of you to help me with this movement, to help tell your neighbors, read our mini manifestos. We are not a party who will win this election by saying how poorly the other side does. We will not ask you for the honor of your vote because the other side is worse. We will ask you for the honor of your vote because we show you, as we have done in the past, every time we have been in office, we will show you how we will help you. We bring our honest, hard-working team of my fellow candidates. Mr. Roberts has said how many distinctions, how many degrees between us, how many good, hard-working, problem-solving minds will help you. I thank you all for coming out tonight, and I thank you all for continuing to hit the ground with us. We have 17 days left. You can count the hours, you can count the minutes. We will not stop until we cross the finish line. On election day, what do? We vote for the rising sun. Because, say it with me, when the UNC wins, everybody wins. When the UNC wins, every single one of us will win, will prosper, will thrive. I thank you all. From here, our team goes, we continue our work. We are going to our own cottage meeting at Bertie Road. And I'm sure every single one of my candidates will have their own locations as well, as we keep spreading this message far and wide of the change, of the help, of the rescue that we want to bring to this nation. Arima, I thank you. Trinidad and Tobago, I thank you for this opportunity to win with the UNC. Good night and God bless.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinidad wins.
A young, dynamic, professional woman, a medical doctor who will form part of the UNC government when we win on April 28th. She spoke about education, and I want to encourage Trinidad and Tobago, all who are looking on. We have these things called mini-festos. There are many manifestos, and I want to read a few points in support of what my sister, Dr. Natalie Chaitan Maraj, said from our Strategic National Development Plan. And part of our plan has to do with transforming the education system. Kamla Prasad-Bessessar will provide tablets and laptops for all our children. Our UNC government will procure learning materials such as textbooks. We will recruit outstanding retired educators in language and mathematics to continuously improve our students. We speak about technical vocational education. The UNC government, led by Prime Minister Kamla Prasad-Bessessar, will establish a full-fledged technical university to provide the highest level of technical and vocational training. We will integrate TechVoc schools into the secondary school system so that students who are interested very early in technical and vocational education can attend the training in your schools full-time to prepare you for the world of work and to prepare you for employment. We will engage in National Training Agency directly in delivering technical vocational education and create more positions for technical vocational curriculum officers to facilitate that expansion. So when we speak about jobs, when we speak about creating jobs, I want to remind you that the government led by Kamla Prasad-Bessessar in 2010 created 50,000 jobs, and we'll do it again. I want to at this time acknowledge our hard-working General Secretary, Mr. Peter Kanhai. Make some noise for him. We have with us Mr. Ravi Ratiram, our Education Officer. Also with us is Mr. Eli Zakur, our Northwest Regional Representative. And for our Coalition of Interest Partners, we have Mr. Bennett Thomas of the East Office of the PEP. Make some noise for our PEP brothers. And of course, the Arima COP Posse IC Acting Chairman Jamie Bahadur, Ms. Metive, former Mayor, Deputy Mayor of Arima. Make some noise for the COP. My friends, the next speaker I have the honor of introducing, because I first met this gentleman many years ago. We were doing a walkabout in St. Augustine constituency, and he was at the home of a relative. And he met us and he told us that he had the honor of working with then Prime Minister Kamla Prasad-Bessessar, and how much he and his colleagues in the protective services miss a prime minister like that. And he wanted to get involved. He is now the candidate for Trin-City Maloney. He is making inroads in Dabadi, in Red Hill, in Maloney. I want you to make some noise for retired officer Richard Smith as we bring him to the podium.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Everybody wins. Everybody wins.
Good night, everyone. Arima, good night. How we feeling? Yeah? Arima, good night. How we feeling? All right. First, I want to say good night to the political leader, Mrs. Kamla Prasad-Bessessar, Senior Counsel, MP, and the National Executive. My colleagues, MPs, and good night again to the Arima and the Trin-City Maloney Executive. It is truly an honor to be here with you on this stage tonight, united in this mission, and most importantly, alongside you, the Arima and our beautiful country of Trinidad and Tobago. Now, Arima, I want to say something. Are you all satisfied with the rate and the state of this country, how it is going? Neither am I. And this year tonight, we'll surely and show them what we mean and where we're coming from. And we mean business. When we come out here on the 20th of April to vote and to vote for change and to make the correct choice. I bring to you greetings from the vibrant but long forgotten and overlooked and neglected constituency of Trinity-Maloney, a community bringing in pride, talent, strength, and resilience, but also a community weary of being used and forgotten. Ladies and gentlemen, they neglect, they ignored us, they taken us for granted. They left us behind on the roadside. To do us what? To have us suffering down there? To have us suffering in Arima? To have us suffering in the country? I don't think so. Allow me to speak freely. This time, the time for sugarcoating, it's long gone. It's done. It's done. Trinity-Maloney isn't a crime just in headlines. It is harsh and a daily reality in some of our communities. I know like in Arima also, but my friend here will have it under control. Mr. Moses, yes? Gunshots have replaced lullabies. Our young men are being lost, not only in our constituencies, but in the country itself. We are being lost. But hear this. Some of us may see it as a joke when it comes to someone's life being taken. We have to take everything seriously. And with this present government that we have here, we're not taking anything as jokes with them or for them. We mean business, and it's time to put on our foot. And it's time for us to unite and come out and vote. Crime is only the surface. Beneath it lies the real crisis of unemployment, hopelessness, and years of neglect, especially towards our young people of Trinity-Maloney and Arima. Each election, they resurface with handouts and hollow promises, offering our young men and women temporary jobs and food cards for a month or two. That can work. That cannot work. And then they only disappear. After they hand it out, they disappear. After they get what they want, and leave us behind. Leave all the youths behind. Well, I will stand here tonight and say enough is enough. Once they have secured what it is they need, they retire and they vanish into thin air. Until you see them next time in elections, they come out to the same madness again. But let me say this, and I'll say this loud and clear. Our people don't want any handouts. They don't want any handouts. They want hope, and they want a future, especially young people of Trinidad and Tobago. But what is baffling me, the next candidate or the next MP on the other side, you only see her when it's time for general elections. You don't see her at all when she coming out. You don't see her at all when she was hopping in her car. You don't see her at all. She's a ghost. But you only see her for general elections to come and have everybody, how to say it, they're giving them everything that they want. And lies. But I will tell you something. The people of Trinity Maloney, they say MP, it doesn't stand for Member of Parliament for her. It stands for missing person. And we're looking for that missing person right now. For 9.5 years, she has been a ghost in our community. Absent, invisible. But suddenly, she wants to come out and give handouts, have walkabouts, take photos with children, and what, clean up campaign, give away with food cards again? I don't think so. My brothers and sisters, let me make this clear, and let me be clear. Trinity Maloney doesn't want any part-time MP who appears only when an election belongs or an election bell ring. We don't want that. We need a leader who walks with us every day and everywhere, every step. Not just during campaign season, but every single day. And I am here to make that change and to make that difference in Trinity Maloney itself. In parts of our communities, the challenge and the challenges, it has been very hard for the youths. The youths of Trinity Maloney, our constituencies, residents, in parts of the communities, residents get less than 30 hours of water a week, which is terrible. We're in 2025. Water is life for us, yet we are still begging for the basics. Single mothers are stretched beyond their limits. Many can't afford to feed their children, but they are warriors, but even warriors need help. I stand before you tonight, not just as a candidate, but as a voice for Trinity Maloney, for the youths, for the single mothers, for the elderly, for those who have been ignored and taken for granted. It's far too long this has been happening. And while I stand here tonight representing Trinity Maloney, I know the issues we face. There are crime, unemployment, it is crumbling, the infrastructure is gone. The struggles for single mothers and families, it is totally out of the window, it's gone. My brothers and sisters, there's a national problem from Sandy Grande to San Fernando, from Princestown to Point Fortin, from Diego Martin to Mayaro, and from Toko to Moruga. The people have been crying out, and far too long, cries have been ignored. Let us remember the words of Barack Obama. Change will not come if we wait for some of the persons for others. We are the ones who have to make the change. The time for the excuses is over. Time for handouts is over. Time for representation is now, my brothers and sisters. Well, the UNC is ready to stand, to work with everyone. We are ready to rebuild Trinidad and Tobago. The UNC is ready to lead under the UNC is ready to lead. We are here to offer hard work. Hard work. We are here to rub shoulders with you and make sure you all are safe. So if you are ready to stand with us and for progress and not promises, then join us, ladies and gentlemen, my brothers and sisters. Let us walk this path together. Walk with us towards a future where our young people don't just survive, they succeed. Walk with us to put an end to the era of absent leaders and silent representatives. Walk with us because the voice of Trinity Maloney and this entire nation is rising. At this time, we will not be ignored, not anymore. So I will close you with these words of the great Maya Angelou, who once said, "Nothing will work unless you do." I repeat, nothing will work unless you do. So my brothers and sisters, I thank you. God bless. And remember, when UNC wins, everybody wins. God bless. Thank you.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins.
Make some noise for Richard Smith, Trinity Maloney. My friends, we must not forget what the PNM has done for the country. No salary increases for public servants. We must vote them out. We must not forget that they left 4 divers in a pipeline to die. We must vote them out. We must not forget that food prices skyrocketed under this government. And it's only 2 weeks ago, Stuart Young realized this price of saltfish went up. We must vote them out. This is the government who brought about a foreign exchange crisis. We must vote them out. It is this government that still cannot answer for $3 million missing in the Auditor General's report. Are you ready to vote them out? And the young people in the audience, do you know that the youth unemployment rate is now 14% in Trinidad and Tobago? The United National Congress will create jobs for you. My friends, we must not forget that this man who nobody voted for to make Prime Minister, who was anointed and appointed, is the man who was championing the Dragon gas deal. We must not forget that when the United National Congress raised concerns about the Trinidad government's involvement with Venezuela, he said, "Don't worry, the dragon is alive." And today, the dragon is dead. We must not forgive them for that. We must vote them out. We have a coalition of interests, and tonight I want to welcome the leader of the Congress of the People, Mr. Prakash Ramada, who is with us. And I tell you, the UNC and our partners, we are now start to talk today. The UNC has been ready and on the ground, and a man who has always been on the ground. In fact, for years, people know him as the ground report man. Tonight, he is coming to share with us the perspective from the ground. Let us welcome an outspoken champion of the people, the man they call the Mikey K. Let us make some noise as we welcome Mikey K to bring some greetings.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Everybody wins. Everybody wins.
Good evening, Arima. That's how we do it. And of course, to all our winning candidates, the political leader of the Congress of the People, Prakash Ramada, our members of NATEX, senators, MPs, executive members of Congress of the People, and to all our partners, a pleasant good evening and welcome. You know, my good friend, Khadija Amin just said, and I listened to our good friend, Mr. Smith, and he's correct. And that is the reality. And you ask yourself, when did we sign on for this madness? When did we agree that we were going to be a part of something that just brings us suffering? When did we agree to have a government that has wiped out the middle class? I'm not exaggerating. Wipe out the middle class. You have a man who is now telling us that the Dragon deal is dead, but they have built a stable platform. For whom? For you, who stay up late at night and wonder how you're going to send your children to school? For you, who the bank keeps ringing down your phone, the credit union, the insurance company? Or is it for them, their friends, their family, and their finances? And it's time to put a stop to that. 17 days to go, and it means everything. Don't get yourself involved in conversations that are not productive, that are not going to bring about victory. Forget that. Not every bag that falls off the truck, you need to run behind it. Forget them. Forget the naysayers and the haters. They have their job to do. We have a country to save. Understand that. And we are committed and dedicated. I know that you look and you say, listen, boy, I got to go out there again today. And that's why I always say a special good evening to the support staff for all our candidates. The people who are always filled with excitement and enthusiasm to say we had to go out. Don't forget, we meeting them by the office. The bullhorn man reached. Somebody had to bubble a pot. But we're not giving up every single day, whatever it takes, that when we wake up on April 29th, we must know that our new Prime Minister, Kamla Prasad-Bessessar, is there for us. And you know, and when I ask the question, you know the answer. When it comes to the future of our children, who cares? When it comes to saving our babies, those who have died, those that died in the NICU, who you know is going to take care of them? Who cares? When it comes to protecting the rights and security of our citizens, who cares? That's right. And we are going to write that book. I always tell you this story about the lion and the cub. Lion was walking through the forest one day when he decided to get some rest with the cub. And as he laid there, the cub began reading a book called The Lion and the Hunter. And as he read the book, it illustrated that the lion was walking through the forest one day when he was suddenly captured and slaughtered by the hunter. The cub looked at his father and said, Dad, why is it every time I read these books, the lion is the one that's captured and slaughtered? And he looked at his son and he said, it's going to be that way until the lion writes the book. Tonight we write that book. On every chapter, on every page, it will show that on April 28th, we beat them in the east, we beat them in the west, we beat them in the north, we beat them in the south, we beat them. Each chapter will show what history means, and you understand that. I want to read a bit from our manifesto as well when it comes to crime, because many people say, well, I don't hear, I don't know. They know exactly well. And people like that, you just simply walk away from them. There's nothing you can do. Absolutely nothing. But being from the ground, I can tell you, we're seeing a lot of changes in the narratives. People who would call on the law and say, the first thing they tell you is, they're PNM, but they don't recognize this PNM. They said, this is not our PNM. They said they don't know what this is about. A man was hand-selected. They don't know where he came from. He didn't walk through the rank and file. And there it is, he's making key decisions. Now they bring back the bully on the platform. Now, if you're good enough to come and bully on the platform, why you didn't stay there as leader, as Prime Minister? Why you didn't stay? Why you give it up? What you running from? But Kamla Prasad-Bessessar, as much as they said about her, she made it quite clear. She does not run. She does not run. She's not afraid. Create the offense of home invasions. Yes, because it's the same home they're asking you to pay taxes for that you're not even safe in. That very same home. People kicking down your door, jumping through your window, and they don't care. invading your privacy and your rights. And the UNC is saying, listen, that can't happen. Allow for the right to bear arms or modify the current legislation to make acquiring firearms by law-abiding citizens easier. That's right. We shouldn't be sitting ducks. We should not be sitting ducks. Introduce police officers full-time in schools. We need that. We need that. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Create a Ministry of Home Affairs. Create a Ministry of Defense. Create a Ministry of Justice. Provide diploma, undergraduate, and postgraduate degrees in policing for recruits, combined with the police apprenticeship program. That's right. Many times we see senior officers taking pre-retirement leave. And it's not to come back from their studies and work in the TTPS. It's to set themselves up in the private sector. So all that they learn, they don't come back. They don't teach the juniors. Enough of that nonsense. It has to stop. So these are plans, just some of the plans. Undertake pre-trial detention reform and bail reform. And one of the things that stands out, implement the revamping of the witness protection program. Because if you're telling us, if we see something, say something, we want to say something, but we want to live to say it too. That's very important. So the witness protection program. Arima, your candidate, your UNC candidate is Nigel Moses. And when you vote for Nigel Moses, Arima will win with Nigel Moses. He is committed and he's dedicated, like all our candidates, committed to the core, called to serve, and they're up here. I just want to say upon closing, we are not going to end until it ends. Don't get complacent. Don't get relaxed. Don't feel that it's a smooth sailing, because this week, from Monday, it's 2 weeks to go, and they're going to throw everything at you. Every single thing. Things that you didn't even know about yourself, they're going to tell you. The most nastiest things. It could be about this one, that one. So prepare yourself, but stay laser focused. According to our political leader, stay laser focused. We suffer for almost 10 years. We could bear the grind and bring it home. 17 more days to go. Because when the UNC wins, and most importantly, who cares? Who cares? Arima family, get ready for victory. Thank you so much. God bless. Keep it going.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, everybody wins.
That is the man they call Mikey K. My friends, let me welcome Senator Annel Roberts, the Douglas. And you will be hearing from him later tonight. But I want to add to what my brother Mikey K spoke about. Because the crime crisis that has been created by this PNM government will be treated with intelligence, competence, and purpose by the Kamla Prasad-Bessessar government in 2025. The government will also provide diploma, undergraduate, and postgraduate degrees in policing for recruits, combined with a police apprenticeship program, more professional law enforcement. They will undertake pre-trial detention reform and bail reform. They will implement individual risk and financial assessments. We will establish minimum security detention centers. We will implement laws to prevent the incarceration of non-violent drug offenders, such as drug addicts. We will implement properly, not a halfway job like this government, the ankle bracelets and house arrest system with updated legislation. We have been told by law enforcement officers that dog biting off ankle bracelets right now. So we will have those systems updated. We will establish state support for children of incarcerated persons, because our young people who lose their parents to the penal system also need guidance. We will establish a fund for children who have lost one or both parents to crime. That is the love of Kamla Prasad-Bessessar. While this government has long lines and bodies piling up and waiting for analysis from our forensic science complex, I want to tell you, a government led by Kamla Prasad-Bessessar will construct a forensic science complex and national security training facility at the UE Debe campus. We will ensure the enforcement of drug and liquor laws regarding minors to save our children. We will provide personal licensed firearms to active Trinidad and Tobago Police Service officers and prison officers so that they can protect themselves even when they are off duty. My brothers and sisters, a united national government, united national Congress government cares about our law enforcement officers. And tonight, I am reminded that just as the 4 divers were left in the pipeline to die, there is a Coast Guard officer missing since February 20th, Karen Simon. He was involved in a multinational drug eradication operation between Trinidad and Tobago and Grenada. This man is the father of 2 children, 3 years old and 7 years old. We are calling on the government to search and bring home Coast Guard officer Karen Simon and to put systems in place to protect all our officers from all the services while they are on duty. A Trinidad and Tobago, led by Kamla Prasad-Bessessar, will ensure that our officers are safe, protected, and well represented. My brothers and sisters, at this time, I have the honor of introducing the man I will vote for. He has been a senator. Wait now, let me finish introduce him. Are they making so much noise for all the candidates? He is a young, dynamic professional. He is a businessman who has seen the need to stand up for Trinidad and Tobago. He has offered himself to serve, not today. He has served as a senator with the UNC on numerous occasions. He is now the candidate for Malabar Mausika. Let us welcome young, dynamic, energetic businessman Dominic Smith, your candidate for Malabar Mausika. Make some noise as we welcome him to the stage at this time.
Arima family, let me hear you. Twin City, let me hear you. Lopido, where are you? And my brothers and sisters in my home, Malabar Mausika, let me hear you. All protocols observed tonight. We have a massive crowd here. I want to thank every single person for taking the time to come out here and support the United National Congress and its coalition of partners. All those people on the outside hearing our voice, they are here because of one thing. When the UNC wins, everybody wins. It would be remiss of me if I don't thank a couple important people here. I want to welcome my brothers and sisters in arms, the MPs, the candidates that are representing the Arima area and the East-West Corridor. Let's give a round of applause for our candidates. I want to thank the leader of the United National Congress, a woman that I love and respect, the Honorable Kamla Prasad-Bessessar, Senior Counsel. I want to thank all the staff as my brother said, that is behind the scenes, working hard in every single camp, for every single candidate. All the constituency members, stand up, give yourself a round of applause. Comrades, let's be real. We're not here for joke. We're not here for old talk. We're not here for mama guy. Tonight in Arima, we are asking everyone, this is a call to action. Because let me tell you something, they think these seats are guaranteed. The People's National Movement think that Arima is going red. But let me tell you something, with all the yellow and blue IMC in here, the UNC will make a sweeping victory. You know, there's a quote by a lady, Gertrude Stein, and it says, one generation passeth away, and another generation cometh, but the earth abideth forever. The sun also riseth, and goeth down again, and hasteth to the place where it arose. And I tell you, come April 28th, the United National Congress and its coalition of partners, that sun will rise again, and it will start in Arima, and it will go all throughout the corridors. You know why? This is a war. We are at war. And I'm telling you today, when we are at war, who do we need? We need our soldiers. We need our soldiers in the battle. Brothers and sisters, the PNM wants you to forget. They want you to reverse time. They want you to erase the pain and hardship that you have faced over the last 10 years. 10 years, little brothers. That is a decade. You know what you could do in 10 years? Can you remember when your children were born and how long it took for them to get to 10 years old? 10 years this country has been under oppression. But the PNM's mantra is all in. Well, I was surprised when I saw all in, because I say that had to be all in on what? Chaos? All in on what? Poverty? All in on what? Suffering? All in on what? Poor infrastructure? All in on what? Crime? If that is what all in is about, I am all out. Let me hear you. But how can we forget Arima? How can we forget, comrades, when we have mothers who are weeping every day in the streets for the children? How can we forget the last 10 years when families are in darkness because they cannot afford to pay the electricity bill? How can we forget? How can we sit here in our chairs, in our pews, and in our homes and forget what these people have done to you and your family? They want you to pretend that that didn't exist, that you dreamed that. But I tell you here tonight, in Arima North Secondary School and in all parts of Malabar Mausika, when I tell you about Subero Street, when I tell you about Mahogany Drive, when I tell you about Tumpuna, we will not forget. And on April 28th, you will remember that was the day of liberation. I tell you, change is coming. And change is coming because we have a leadership that is visionary. We have a team of educated professionals. And most importantly, we have a team of people that are working for you. We're not here to work for ourselves, you know. Because the role of government is to service who? You tell me. Arima, you tell me. The people. The role of government is to serve the people. And when you are not serving the people, then you are not in government. I tell you, we have an illegitimate government in Trinidad and Tobago. It's have a fellow by the call of Dominic in Arima. All of them? Not me, though. Not me, though. Actually, I going back and forth in all of the constituencies. If you see a boy, I put on my cap and I'm ready for them. And I start to walk. And as I start to walk, I say, yes, there could be pressure in Arima. But you know what? I'm walking on. Well, I going through and through the streets and the valleys, down in train line, all over the place. I didn't see one t-shirt red. But you know what I heard when I went by a lady gate? She dancing. When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. And that, my friends, is the love that the people of Malabar Mausaka, formerly Dabidi O'Meara, has shown this fella across here. So when I tell you change is coming, when I tell you we are at war, when I tell you that people are standing up for what is right in our country, I am telling you it is starting here in Arima and it will sweep the whole of the East-West corridor. I am telling you that it will happen in Tunapuna. I am telling you that it will happen in St. Joseph. Our partner, Salam Hussein, gonna jam them down in Sawa. I'm telling you in Sando West, Dr. Dalwat gonna give it to them. I'm telling you down in Toko Sando Grande, our brother Wayne Stewart will take it. I'm telling you in every single marginal, it will be like the rain coming. Because when the tide raises, when Kamla Prasad-Bessessar and this UNC coalition rises, all boats will rise in our harbors. They say it takes only one swell in a harbor raises all the boats. But let me tell you something. Them fellas on in PNM, they don't have boat and thing, you know. They have yacht. It's yacht they have in the harbor. But let me tell them something. It's the people with the boats that is feed this nation. And it's the people in the boats and all across those fishing communities. They are the ones who have the power. And they will make the tide rise. And with that rise, we will all rise. Because when the UNC wins, everybody wins. I could say so much. Well, they probably say, who is this madman in front here? Where does young fella come from with all this energy? The people have been giving me the energy to continue this battle. The support and dedication of the activists who have come out with me on my walks, they are giving me the energy. My support staff in my Malabar, Mausaka, O'Meara Road office, they are giving me the energy. And most importantly, the constituents of Arima across the board, they are the ones that are giving me the energy. And that is what we need. That is what we need. But I want to tell you something. My political leader, in her vision, she said to us, be focused, be diligent. Now is not the time to rest. Today marks how many days? 17 more days, minus 3 days for auspicious occasions. That means on Monday, the 14th, we are down to how much days? 14 more days, minus the 28th, which is election day, 13 days. Now, I am not a mathematician. I do a little maths there. But I am telling you, we have no time to let go of the momentum that we have been showing throughout Trinidad and Tobago. I want to tell you something in Arima. I don't mind if you pause, but don't stop. I don't mind if you slow down, but you put one foot in front of the other. I don't mind if you complain and you say, Dominic, giving me problems. I will be in your face every single day, in every single PD, in every single nook, and as they call it, the cranny as well, in Arima, in Malabar, Mausaka. And when you see me there, and when I greet you, I want you to say hello. And when you say hello, you better greet me with some yellow. I mean, this campaign has been one of excitement. They say them young children, them young fellas, they don't get involved in politics. What they gonna say now? They say our leadership doesn't encourage the meshing of experience and youth. I want you to look at the slate that was provided by the United National Congress. What they're gonna say? What they're gonna say now? But they have been talking. But as the old people used to say, what they used to say? Oh, they don't know what they used to say? Huh? Right. What they used to say? They used to say old talk. Right? Old talk and no action. That is what the PNM has been about for the last 10 years. But with a UNC government, we are action-oriented. Not only are we action-oriented, we have plans for you. And if you want to wax biblical, you know when the Lord said, I have plans for you? Those are good plans. We have plans in education. We have plans to reduce unemployment. We have plans to uplift our youth. We have plans to bring health care to community centers. We have plans to bring crime down in communities. We have plans for you. So when they tell you they have no plans, they're disorganized, I want you to look at yourself right now. I want you to look at yourself right now and let them know we are ready for them. Because when the UNC wins, tell me, everybody wins. And let me tell you something. Our leader, or you ever heard of The Art of War? By Sun Tzu? I think that's the pronunciation. You know what that book says? A leader leads by example and not by force. So when that bully down in Port of Spain want to lead by force, we tell him, no, brother. That is not how we lead up here. We lead by what? Example. So when they come with the rhetoric over the last 10 years and they're bold-faced enough to come and meet you by your door, what is the example, boss? What have you done, boss? Take them in Arima. Say, come, brother, come. Let me talk to you. Come down to this community center. You seeing it? How it looking? Well maintained? No, brother man. Take them down to the park where they don't take the infrastructure and the lights are gone and people are asking for support. Simple things. Take them down to the rivers that clog in. Take them down to the parks that are overgrown. Take them down to the places where your families and your friends are supposed to be communing in what? Communities. Trinidad is a tapestry of communities. And this PNM government have neglected our communities. They have neglected our youth. I walking down Mahogany and them fellas come out to greet me. A young boy, he come out. I said, boss, how old are you? He said, I'm 18. I said, well, I'm your candidate for the area. My name is Dominic Smith. I want to ask you for your vote. Do I have your support? You know what the fella tell me? He said, boss, I want to work. I can't find a job. So, this thing that we call politics is a serious thing. It has to come from, excuse me, right? It has to come from one place. Here. The last time I get on so was when my mother cut my tail good and proper, all right? So forgive me. I'm running out of time. But you are not running out of time. You have your future ahead of you. Trinidad and Tobago can be a place of prosperity. It can be a place of good living. It can be a place where your children can depend on a future. It can be a place where you own a business and you don't have to be fearful. It can be a place with so much promise. And so come April 28th, don't study that red fella who got emotional on stage in Arima. I want you to consider yourself. Because this election is not about me. It's not about Dominic Smith. It is not about Kamla Prasad-Bessessar. It is not about any candidate under the sun. It is about you. I had plenty to say. They have 38 seconds on me here before they pull me off the stage. But I want to say this to you. I want to say this to the young people of Arima. I want to say this to the young people in Lopino. I want to say this to the young people in Trinity Maloney. I want to say this to my brothers, my comrades in this war in Malabar, Mausika. This election is for you. Don't be left. Don't be left in the sidelines for another 5 years. Don't let them take away this vote from you. Come out in your numbers. Give them the highest voter turnout they have ever seen in Trinidad and Tobago. I want when we beat them, they know that they get beat good and proper. I want when we lick them up this time, they know the people are the ones who said no. It must be convincing, because we are about good governance. And the United National Congress and its coalition of partners are about good governance. And we have the people, and we have the plans, and we have the leader. So come April 28th, come out in your numbers, come out and vote. Don't vote for me, vote for you. Vote for United National Congress, because when the UNC wins, everybody wins.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins.
That is our vibrant and energetic candidate for Malabar Mausika, the man who will bring home the seat. Give it up for Dominic Smith. And I want to tell you all something. The UNC has been talking about our plans and policies to make Trinidad and Tobago a better place. The PNM has been getting more and more desperate because they know they will lose the next general election. Tonight, earlier tonight, I told you we are live on our UNC Facebook page and we are live on the UNC YouTube channel. Just now while Dominic was speaking, I went online to take a little peep. There are 1,300 people looking at the PNM meeting. Look. You know how many people looking on live right now at this UNC meeting? 4,700 people. And that is only on the YouTube channel. We also have viewers on our Facebook page because they know that the UNC is going to win the next general election. My brothers and sisters, we will win with our good plans to improve Trinidad and Tobago. And I want to share with you, we talk so much about crime and crime fighting, but we must also remember the victims of crime. When justice is delayed, justice is denied. On our manifesto on criminal and the civil justice system, the UNC will fix it. The UNC will create a ministry of justice. The UNC will undertake a comprehensive review of all criminal laws to weed out the obsolete laws that are oppressive to a free democratic society and causing unnecessary bureaucracy Men like Mr. Prakash Ramada can tell you about that. The UNC will provide the needed resources to make sure that court cases involving offenses against children and sexual offenses are determined rapidly to bring justice to our victims. At present, you have situations where the courtrooms are sometimes not functional. They are just not enough. Our government will increase the number of functional courtrooms. Right now, there is a deficit. Every judge of the High Court must have a designated courtroom to ensure that he or she can sit every day and determine cases and bring justice rapidly. That is what a UNC government will do. So we will provide more courtrooms in the highly populated areas outside of the capital. So everything does not have to be in Port of Spain. We will have courtrooms in Chaguanas, in Rio Claro, in Sandy Grande, in Diego Martin, bringing justice closer to you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago. We will create smaller detention centers around the country. And you know what that will do? That will break up the gang activity and the gang recruitment that takes place in the prison and make sure that you are closer for family support to prisoners by enabling regular visitation, and particularly for prisoners who have children so that they can still be involved in their children's lives. The UNC government will modernize prisons and break up the large prisons into smaller ones where the inmates can be better monitored, and you will not have the kind of chaos that continues under this PNM government. We will implement appropriate social programs involving training and life skills to prevent prisoners from having to go back in that revolving door, so that when they go into prison, there is true reform. So when they come out, they can be integrated into society as whole and better citizens, rather than going back into a cycle of crime. The UNC government will utilize our intelligence services for crime fighting, not for what the PNM doing right now to spy on their political opponents. You know that they tap in people's phones all now. I show my phone tap. Let them tap, let them listen, let them hear that the UNC is going to win. But the resources of the state for doing these type of activities should not be used for spying on political opponents, but the UNC will utilize it for fighting crime. My brothers and sisters, the next speaker is the man who has been from Blanchisseuse to Lafayette to the dump road, all throughout Arima. When the UNC was in government, we built schools, community centers in all those communities along the North Coast, Blanchisseuse, Lafayette. We established the community emergency response units so that when there are emergencies on the North Coast, they don't have to wait for a unit to come from Arima to go up there. The Lafayette Primary School was done under the People's Partnership Government. You know where the children for that school are? Because this government refused to complete the school. They are now in the auditorium of the secondary school, and they have been there for the entire term of this PNM government. And now the same member of parliament who has not built and completed the Lafayette Primary School want you to vote for her? You must vote them out. You must vote them out. You know what the UNC also started in Lafayette? The community center. The UNC started that, and you know who shut it down? The PNM. So don't let nobody come and say that the PNM candidate is a nice boy. She's a nice girl. We are voting for nice boy and nice girl. We want performance. We want a UNC government. You cannot tell me that the PNM MP for some of these areas is a nice person when they allow unemployment to continue rampant in their constituency, when they allow sporting facilities like the Arima Velodrome to be neglected. You cannot tell me they are nice people when culture in Arima is totally dwindling, where Arima Borough Day, Arima Carnival, the First People Festivals, all these things that created local economic development, that drove local tourism, that was a sense of pride for the people of Arima, have gone down the drain. They cannot be nice people. They are pretending to be nice. They're pretending to be nice to get your vote. And you must vote them out. You must vote for the UNC candidate for Arima, who will come to speak to you now. Let us welcome our brother Nigel Moses to the podium.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. Vote for peace. Vote for love. Vote for hope. Vote for change.
Good night, everyone. I'll start by apologizing for my emotional walking onto the stage, because this ain't no joke. 2025 is no joke. No joke. We need to get rid of the PNM. We need to get rid of them from captain to cook and make sure the United National Congress get into government. So I'd like to say a good evening to our political leader, the Honorable Mrs. Kamla Prasad-Bessessar, SC, the National Executive, our Northeast representative, my co-candidates, campaign teams. I'd like to say a special welcome to PSA, PP, COP, and OWTU, because this coalition is none other than the most aggressive combination to create a government in the history of Trinidad and Tobago. I'd like to say a pleasant good night to Malabar Mausika, our friends next door. I would like to say a welcome to Lopino Bonnier. I would like to say a welcome to Trin City. And I would like to say a special good night to Arima. Well, tonight I didn't come with any empty promises. I came with action. I came with truth, and I come with a plan for real change and real results. For far too long, we've been ignored. Our community is neglected. I've heard it in other speeches, so you can understand clearly that we're not lying. It's being repeated, right? Our voices dismissed, our roads forgotten, and our youth abandoned. Now, I'd like to be specific with something. An individual from Santa Rosa told me that, she said, Mr. Moses, I must admit, I love my member of parliament, but from a personal perspective, that is great. That's what she said. She said, but when I'm thinking about the legacy, safety and security of my family, I, myself and my neighbors will have no other choice but to switch, vote for the United National Congress and remove her from government. My Northeast representative spoke about the Lafayette issues we have. We went up on the North Coast. We went from Paria through Montlacroix, Blanchisseuse, Lafayette, and the issue we experienced in Lafayette is exactly what she said. She wasn't making up. You cannot make things up like that. And the constituents up there, it's a bit confusing to me. Looking back historically, the North Coast fluctuates from PNM to UNC, and they roll. It's a real nice dynamic process, all because they are viewing that, okay, let's see where we could get the dollar. I had conversations on both entities in the on the North Coast, and I explained to them, okay, all well and fine, you got $40,000 to to vote for the People's National Movement to bring out 100 persons. After paying about $200 per person, let's round it off that you end up with about $20,000, which because of your lifestyle would last you a week. So you are going to enjoy that money for a week and suffer for 4 years and 51 weeks. That makes no sense. They told me they never viewed it in that light, and in my logic, they are now accepting the fact that the North Coast has gone to the United National Congress, and we are going to bring it home and get rid of the People's National Movement for once and for all. When I came into politics, I have to laugh, because I came from the military. Well, when you're in the military, you can't be politically affiliated and or inclined. I was approached in 2023 by our present coordinator. I spoke to my wife. My wife said, well, you normally help persons, so you'll get the opportunity to use the United National Congress as a conduit to help a lot more. But she said something to me that night. She said, how come you didn't approach the People's National Movement? The Member of Parliament is right around the corner from us. I said, well, they may be there, but when you look at empathy, and you have to make a logical decision when it comes to operational planning in the Defense Force, there's only one individual that has empathy and has the ability to bring the country out of the abyss that we are in. So there's no choice between UNC and PN, there's no choice, there's none. There's UNC and nothing. So I went on to become the local candidate, the candidate for the local government, and when I saw what was happening out there, I identified that I had no other choice but to stay into politics and try to ensure that I fight for the United National Congress in Arima. So they told me that, but Mose, Arima is a stronghold, you know. Like Penny. I said, all right, nothing wrong with that. I said, but Penny don't have a clue how aggressive I am. And for 3 years, after growing up and knowing that politicians only walk around when it's election time, I worked for 3 years and made sure that Penny shake in her boots. And now she's looking at me, who before I was into politics, I got a lovely smile. Now I know she's looking at me, hoping that I get a heart attack and die. Because at no point in time that anytime you need representation in Arima, you cannot look to the People's National Movement. You have to look to Nigel Moses, the UNC candidate for Arima. I went up to the La Retreat area. Beautiful people. Let me hear La Retreat in the house. Beautiful people. And despite all the murders they went through for 18 months, they held fast and still maintained their pride and still looked forward to supporting each other as neighbors. But it's very painful. I went to houses where the wife, husband, and brother died. I went to houses where the 4 kids were killed. I went to houses left, right, and center, almost 17 murders in 18 months. And what they are telling me is not one day they were visited by the government. So Penny went up in the La Retreat and thought that she had it easy, a normal, smooth walkover. They told her, you were not there when our families were killed. Nigel Moses was there. But more now that the election is here, you are coming to campaign, vote for me. I went into the Matarita area. Lovely, lovely people. Matarita in the house. They are telling me that they received chicken neck. Chicken neck as give out when Hampers went to Santa Rosa. They told her, well, MP, chicken necks? Oh God, man. She said, no, it'll taste real good when you Jira it. So all they have to look forward to is Jira chicken neck. So the Matarita people are saying, take your bags of Jira chicken neck and go for me. Arima is a unique place. Very, very unique. We have the Arima Borough Corporation situated in the middle of the Tunapuna-Piako Regional Corporation to the west and the Tunapuna-Piako Regional Corporation to the east. That's strange. That's strange. The Arima Borough Corporation, I'm not speaking statistics, but I'm assuming it's the smallest corporation in Trinidad and Tobago. The Arima has no industrial support, unlike south of the border, and you have Mearo, Guayari. We don't have industrial support. We don't have the oil and gas and all of that. So we have over 30,000 persons trying to get into the Arima Borough Corporation. You all find that makes sense? Right? These said people are begging and pleading for the lands that they have been living on for over 30 years, some persons over 40, over 50, over 60 years, for certificates of comfort. That unfair? Kamla Prasad-Bessessar brought the land for the landless between 2010 and 2015, ensuring that they're trying to work to get the certificate of comfort for these people. PNM came into power and said, you all don't need that. Discontinue that. And now in the last hours, telling persons, submit your birth certificate, because the election here, submit your birth certificate and the relevant documents, and the Land Settlement Agency will sort you out. What I am telling her is, go out for me. Now we have the dump situated in the La Retreat area, right? Now you all would know it as the dump road, but we have made sure that the name has changed to give dignity to the community. So you have the La Retreat Road, you have the La Retreat extension connecting to the heights of Guanapo. So we're speaking of the dump on the La Retreat Road. Swimcall, who is responsible for ensuring there's no spillage over into the rivers, has not done their job. So now you have signs in the rivers that stating no bathing, no cooking, no drinking, no nothing, but you know children. Children are reading that signs, all of us are small. So the children are bathing, cooking, drinking, swimming, and the government is doing what? The government is doing what? So you know what they are telling you, or what they are telling us in Arima? We don't care about you, whether it's crime, you could die in the river. We have no concern about you with your interest in wanting land for you and your family, for legacy for your children, but all we want is for you to vote because we're nice people. So what I'm telling them, go for me. And tonight, I am standing here as your candidate for the United National Congress for the general elections, and I will be here for you, not from now till tomorrow, but I'll be here for you from now till the end of time. And when Nigel Moses wins, Arima wins. Let me hear you. When Nigel Moses wins, who wins? When Nigel Moses wins, who wins? And when UNC wins, everybody wins. Thank you.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. Vote for peace. Vote for love. Vote for hope. Vote for
Come on, Arima. Let me hear you make some noise for Nigel Moses. My friends, Nigel Moses was a UNC candidate in the last local government election. He lost by just a little bit of votes. But you know what? he didn't turn his back on the people of Arima. He stayed and he worked and he served and he's here to serve you again. And I want to take this opportunity to acknowledge our constituency campaign teams who have been hitting the ground. The Mausika Malabar team. All give them a round of applause. They're in Peytonville, they're in Carapo, they're in Malabar, they're all over. The Arima team, I see in Flora and others here. Make some noise for them. Neville, where Neville? Make some noise for them. You also have the Maloney team, the Trinity Maloney team, working with our candidate Richard Smith. They are going into areas where before people used to tell we is PNM till are dead, but like the PNM, they are dying out. And more people are coming out to support the United National Congress. I also want to big up a team who has been working tirelessly. Very often they are in the background assisting in neighboring constituencies. And that is the team from St. Augustine. Let me hear St. Augustine in the house. Tonight I see my brother Kurt from the Congress of the People, one of our candidates in our coalition of interest. Give him a round of applause. Kurt, stand up. You're going to win your seat. Kurt Senate, my brothers and sisters. So now we come to a gentleman who many people has looked forward to on a morning. Because when you're having your doubles and your coffee and the Douglas come on, you know he's going to give them beans. This is a man who has stood up fearlessly against the PNM. All that he has said, they can't sue him yet because he has been bringing the truth to you. He has been exposing the PNM lies, and he has been talking to tell you about the plans of the United National Congress. Let us welcome the ever-energetic brother, Senator Annel Roberts.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinidad wins. Everybody wins.
UNC family, Congress of the People family, PP family, PSA family, SWTU family, Labour family, teachers, workers, good evening. The only way the PNM can win this election is to steal it. The feeling on the ground throughout Trinidad and Tobago, from Point Fortin to Matlot, from Chagaramas to Mayaro, Manzanilla, and all in between, the people are fed up of the PNM. So we have to work even harder. As an Olympic coach, when things are going good, you have to think smarter. You have to make sure every little detail is seen about. You have to make sure your athlete is sleeping, eating, taking their vitamins, being careful, strategizing, not getting too nervous. When things are bad, it's easy to improve. The UNC is heading towards government. Kamla Prasad-Bessessar will be the next Prime Minister. We must continue to work for the next 16 days. I want everybody in here to do what Dominic Smith said and understand that the young people of the UNC are bright. Touch your heart, because that's what politics is about. It's all about heart. And the difference between Kamla and Stuart is that Kamla has a heart, and Kamla leads with heart, and Kamla loves her country, and Kamla loves her people, and Kamla loves children. While Stuart, he loves himself and his daddy. and he can do nothing without his daddy. He couldn't stay in school without his daddy. He had to bully boys who made him feel bad about himself. He bullied Imran because Imran was bright. He bullied Imran because Imran studied. He bullied Imran because Imran got in CIC on the 80% and not the 20%. He bullied Imran because Imran merited his place. A bully is a low self-esteem individual. A bully is not proud of who they are. A bully must bring down others to feel good about themselves. Stuart Richard Young is a palpable bully, a useless individual. And we the people must protect all our intelligent, brilliant people from neophyte bullies. This election is about heart, it's about love, it's about care. It's about us thinking about one another. Just because you're not in a labor union, you should feel disrespected when labor is told 0001001. You should feel disrespected because labor is your brother and your sister. This election is about heart. Our country has been turned upside down. Kamla Prasad-Bessessar showed love in opposition. She showed love as Prime Minister. She shows love now in opposition on the way to being Prime Minister again. The love is real. The love is true. The very first cabinet note Kamla Prasad-Bessessar brought to the cabinet was one to create a children's life fund. Now think about this for a moment. In my opinion, that was the most pertinent, important cabinet note in the history of Trinidad and Tobago from 1962 to now. Why do I say that? Because it was for the first time in our history that the government had a prime minister who said what we all wanted, that a children's life, a child's life, the children's life mean more than ours. We as parents would lay our lives down for our children without thinking. My first wife, when my big daughter was born 27 years ago, and she's going to get married in 2 months, I go cry. When she was born, I saw and I learned the love that a mother has for her children. Because Rebecca was about 2 months, and I was going at 4:30 in the morning to coach. And Charlene had Rebecca, this little thing in her arms, and she tripped and fell. And she fell to the ground, and her knees skated on the asphalt, and her knees were skinned. And I screamed out, "Oh God!" And she looked at me with fear in her eye and said, "She's okay. She's okay." I said, "But I'm not talking about the baby. It's you fall down there." The woman's hand did not flinch. We all know if I fall here now, I will flinch. My instinct will be to protect myself. But when a mother has a baby, that instinct moves from self-preservation to preservation of the child. It's not conscious thought. It's pure heart. It's pure instinct. And that's what Kamla Prasad-Bessessar has. But you will never see an editorial that says, "Brilliant Kamla, well done Kamla. The Children's Life Fund saved 153 babies' lives." I repeat, because of the Children's Life Fund, 153 precious little babies were allowed to live. Yet not one newspaper, not one television station, not one major commentator did a column saying Kamla Prasad-Bessessar My goodness, what an amazing lady. What an amazing Prime Minister. What a caring woman. Because our country has gone upside down. The PNM has turned this country upside down. Yesterday, children, 17,957 children took SEA. They worked hard. The teachers worked hard. Their parents put them to study. They focused. They did practice tests. And they wanted to achieve greatness yesterday. But do you know what the PNM has done? The PNM has taken the dream and the drive to be in the 80% that qualify, that work hard, that merit going to whatever school they choose. They push those aside, the disciplined ones, the hardworking ones, the intelligent ones, the ones who sacrifice, the ones who manage their time. And you know who the PNM celebrates? The ones who have money, the ones who have connection, the ones who could get into school even though they didn't study, the ones who bully, the ones who are dotish, the ones who are lazy. That is PNM. Stuart Richard Young, and I think it's very hard for somebody like me to say, so bear with me. I may stammer a bit. Stuart Richard Young is right now, for the next 16 days, the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. Stop and think. I'm no fan of Dr. Eric Williams because of his latter years, 12 years, when his boys and them started to tell him, well, money flowing, it could flow so. But at the beginning, one cannot say that Dr. Williams was not intelligent. He went to Oxford, Balliol College. He was one of the 4 smartest men in the world. That is true. He wrote some landmark works, and he was absolutely brilliant. So imagine the PNM has moved from the brilliance of Dr. Williams to a dunce called Stuart Young. No, if you understand what I am saying, a prime minister has awesome power. Power to impact everybody's lives. A prime minister can decide and determine through their policies how you feed your children, how your children participate in extracurricular activities, how your children are, whether they're safe or unsafe on the maxis, on the bus routes, on the byways, how they perform in schools, how they are treated in schools, whether there's discipline or whether they're bullied and battered, how you feel when you let your child leave the house. A prime minister can impact your life on a daily basis. How you sleep, how you wake up, how you eat, how you digest, how you drive to school, your stress levels, your money, how you spend in the grocery, where you go, how you recreate. A prime minister has awesome responsibility and power. How could we give that power to a dunce? Something is wrong with us. I got breaking news on the way here. At 4:45 p.m. today, it was confirmed, breaking news, that the St. Anne's Madhouse has moved to Balize House. It has been confirmed. The Madhouse moved because I was privileged to be on the radio with Dennis Hall, a.k.a. Sprangalang, one of the most brilliant human beings you'll ever meet. No master's degree, no doctorate, no specialty, but just pure genius, cultural Sprangalang, with a memory like no other. Could talk history and calypso and music and politics and social programs, world history, world politics, just like that without a piece of paper. I sat there for 5 years, 3 hours a day, 5 days a week. and I was educated. I got a master's in Sprangalang. And Sprangalang told me one time, he said, Annel, a madman run out the house and jump in the car. He tried to start the car, it wouldn't start. He started again, he started to scream. The neighbors come out, he's screaming, the car not working. He shouted at the neighbors, boy, my car, don't know what happened, call the mechanic. One of the neighbors opened the back door and said, brother, go in the front seat now. That is what is taking place at Balize House. How could you take a man like Stuart Young, who was a failure in school compared to the best, and give him the highest position, the most power, the most impactful position? How could you take a man like Stuart Young, not even run him through the rigors of democratic process within the PNM, ignore the Constitution, and gift him the highest position to be sworn in as a prime minister, and you, the taxpayers, your children, will have to pay Stuart Richard Young, a dunce, $90,000 a month for the rest of his life. And he's a young dunce. He's not old. So he's going to get at least $32 to $40 million by the time he's 80 years old, having served less than 6 weeks as prime minister. But did he deserve it? No, he didn't. He was talking last night on the platform saying that if you vote for him, the dunce, he is going to protect you and keep you safe. He is going to bring an elite squad of police and do... Dance, you were the Minister of National Security. Hello, Dance. You were the Minister of National Security and murders reached record level 519 and then 539. Now you come in to Mama Guy, we about keep we safe. We afraid you, Dance. Then you look to the most, Prakash, I'm sorry, boy. I'm sorry to all the attorneys, because I grew up respecting attorneys at law, because I come out the belly of one of the greatest, Patricia Annel Roberts, and I was put in that womb by one of the greatest, Annel Roberts, and two boys who shared that womb with me. One went Oxford, Harvard, Balliol College, lawyer, next one lawyer. My son is a lawyer, my sister is a lawyer, specializing in marine law, maritime law. So I have a love and respect for lawyers. I used to say, boy, lawyers, discipline, bright. You had to be good. You did respect you. Until I met Camille. And while I'm glad you laugh, it's really not funny. Because she's the Attorney General, and a cabinet consists of a Prime Minister and an Attorney General. You don't need no other minister. There is a cabinet in Trinidad and Tobago when the Prime Minister and the Attorney General are sworn in. So imagine right now on the 17th of March, Trinidad and Tobago swore in a dunce and dotage, and that's the government. And now they come to you and say, let we go all in with dunce and dotage. All you cannot be serious. Trinidad and Tobago, we must remove the mad house. Leave it in Balize House. Move it from Whitehall. Move it from the Parliament. Remove it across the board. I have never seen anything like this. We have in the UNC, the other day I was on the stage, privileged to look at the front row. I see specialist gynecologists with, when you see Tim Gopi sing resume, it tick like a novel. Then I see Dr. Chaitan Maharaj, I see Prakash Day, I see Kamla Prasad-Bessessar, I see Economist Smith, I see brain left, right, and center. I said, boy, I had to go and study more, boy, all these bright people. And do you know we competing against Stuart Young? All you don't know about he. Camille, who did not even pass maths. Look, my little daughter, SCA in 1 year, did 2 hours maths today. She can't come and tell me, Daddy, I failed maths. She mightn't get food. But Camille comes and says, I failed maths. In fact, I never even took the exam. And you all swear her in as the Attorney General of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. We had to be mad people. Then you have Colm Imber, a failed engineer who built a stadium and fall down. A man who built a thing down in Diego Martin, rainfall, the whole condominium slide down. Who knows nothing about finance as a Minister of Finance. And you know what he said 2 months ago? Well, I've been Minister of Finance for 9.5 years. I've spent over $650 billion. I've suffered each and every one of you, everybody from every race, religion, ethnicity, class, culture, gender. I suffer all here together. But you know what? I realized I needed to know something about finance. So I just studied this last 6 months. Say I got something. It is not funny. That's a Minister of Finance whose decisions impact your pocket, your money, your ability to survive. And that's what the PNM puts and then tells you they're all in. And when we show them that we not all in, we all out, they come and say, red is the word. Red is the word. Red is now the new cuss word. So instead of using the normal cuss word, like a full box of matches, here what we gonna say. Red you. Red off. Red day. Red day. Red gun. Red. That's what we have to do. Red is the new cuss word. We don't want to hear red. We don't want to see red. We not voting nothing red. We apologize to Digicel workers. At least 43 people have thrown water, toilet water, sewer water, and run Digicel workers because they came out in their red jersey. Digicel has said that they now send in their workers in yellow jerseys so that you will greet them with love and respect so they could fix up your cable. We have to be vigilant. The PNM is planning to steal the election. The PNM has the EBC under its control. The head of the EBC, Fern Narcisscope, is the best friend since St. Augustine girls 30 years ago of Nyan Gadsby Dolly, the current Minister of Education. Fern Narcisscope loves the PNM. She goes to PNM functions. She wears red with pride, takes pictures with PNM ministers, and she is in charge of the election. She is in charge of selecting returning officers, presiding officers, controlling ballot boxes, moving ballot boxes, giving ballot paper, creating the list. She is very powerful. We have to be very vigilant because the mass media has allowed the PNM to usurp control of independent institutions from President's House straight down. But this one in 16 days is the EBC. So all of you who know elections, all of you who have walked and worked elections, you need to be all hands on deck, guiding the young ones, telling them what to look for, reporting to the lawyers, making sure that your polling agents stand firm, check ballots, and check and follow every ballot box. A ballot box must not leave the sight of a UNC supporter. Don't trust anybody. It have PNM police, it have PNM agent, it have PNM in the poll, it have PNM returning officer. The only way they can win is to steal the election. The second way we're going to prevent them from stealing it, because already we have no election observers yet. 16 days to go. Election observers normally come 3 months before an election to see the process, to cut the ballots, to check the returning officers, to hear the meetings, to see how it's being divided, to find out where the polling stations are, what the process is, to check the ink, to check everything. They normally come 3 months before. We are 16 days away, not an observer. Why is that? Because the PNM plans to steal the election from you. They plan to steal the voice of God. The PNM is evil, devilish obia. Who would want to thief the voice of God? The voice of God should be shared and should be screamed from the mountaintops. And on April 28th, the voice of God will overcome the evil of the PNM as Kamla Prasad-Bessessar and the UNC win. But it takes each and every one of you, because they've gerrymandered the boundaries since 1962, when Dr. Williams lied to Capildeo at Marlborough House, telling him that when we return home, we will redo the boundaries to make sure it's fair and representative. What has taken place in the next 63 years, it has gotten worse. When you see a local government election, the entire map is yellow and only little splotches of red. But they tell you, hey, it tie, you know something wrong and we living in a madhouse. When the UNC in a local government election can get 190,000 votes and the PNM 130,000, they say that equal. I don't know, but that sounds mad. We have to correct our course. We have to take our country from out of the madhouse and put it back to merit, to discipline, to those respecting hard work. Those who deserve a contract, get a contract. Those who deserve a job and have worked hard, get the job. We have to stop this PNM madness. It takes all of us. You don't have to like my bullet. You don't have to find I sweat too much. That had nothing to do with politics. My daughter had to love me. She had to love her daddy. Daddy had to protect her and so on. Y'all don't have to love me. I don't have to love y'all. But we have to respect one another, work together, and understand that this country that all of us love unite us, and we must give this country what it deserves. It deserves a government of intellect, a government of performance, a government of merit, a government of brain, a government of creativity, a government of heart, a government of soul. A leader always surrounds himself or herself with people similar to them. So when you see Kamla Prasad-Bessessar, you analyze her. She came from poverty to rise to be some of the highest offices. First female attorney general, deservedly, after winning and topping her class in law, attorney general. First woman to lead a political party, beating one of the greatest politicians of all time, Bastio Pandey. She didn't take it from him. She didn't gerrymander. She took him on in an election and she won. She then became the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago and performed incredibly well. You could see, you could feel it. You could feel it in your pocket, feel it in the grocery, in the pharmacy. You felt it when you went to the gas station. You felt it when your children sat down in new schools and had textbook and laptop. You felt it in sport. You felt it in culture. You felt it in safety and security. You felt it in job creation. You felt it because it was real. For the last 9.5 years, all you felt is pain, sufferation. Your pocket is empty. You have a man that's so daft. He is coming to tell you he went in the grocery for the first time last week. And all the prices gone up. He said, oh, good, all the prices gone up. Somebody had to write that for him, because he ain't know what 85 gram of curry powder look like. He ain't know what 5 pound of onions look like. He ain't know nothing about that. Somebody write that for him. And he's so dotage, he read it out because he can't determine, boy, that don't really suit me. So on April 28th, I ask you, I beseech you, I beg you, respectfully, for your vote. I ask you to vote for the United National Congress, because we have a leader who cares. We have a leader with a brilliant mind. We have a leader who has assembled a team of like-minded, like-hearted people who are passionate and who want to serve you. We have a leader who will ensure that arrogance will not prevail, that love and respect will prevail, that a minister of finance will not take away your finances, take away your subsidy, tax you and laugh at you. That will never happen under Kamla Prasad-Bessessar. So I call upon everybody across Trinidad and Tobago, take out your voting finger and riot, riot, riot on April 28th. Because when the UNC wins, everybody
You are
wins.
listening to
Thank you.
When UNC wins,
the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey. The most influential name in Caribbean radio. WZYE 95.9 FM.
Demons. And I'm telling you this because I am getting a little blow by blow. That party have a meeting in the Quasi tonight. That is the meeting that I tell all you, 1,300 people watching, while 4,700 people watching our meeting. Well, we talk about the meeting. The meeting scanty. And they start to talk about Annel Roberts. They calling up his name. They calling up my name. And I want to tell all you, the PNM will continue to attack the UNC. They continue to blame the opposition because they have no plans, they have no policies, and they have no ways to improve Trinidad and Tobago. When they come to you with your promises, they're promising all kind of things these days. Ask them, why didn't you do it in the last 10 years? What you didn't do in 10 years, you think they're going to do it in 16 days? The PNM come in to tell you they're going to build house. 10 years they didn't build house. You think you getting any house before April 28th? You think you're getting any house before April 28th? They abandon all our schools for 10 years. Grass growing up, vines, rats, rodents. And they tell you they come to improve schools. You think they're going to do that in the next 16 days? Murders going up, blood flowing in our streets, crime, home invasions. Them now have a plan. Stuart Young, who was the minister in the Ministry of Everything, including national security, them have a plan. You think the PNM going to reduce crime in the next 16 days? My brothers, all you know, when you go to the hospitals, people sleeping on the floor. They have long lists for surgery. People have to get tests, heart tests, and they have to wait 2-3 years. If you wait on this PNM government to live, you're dead. And you tell me you believe that they will fix that in the next 16 days? The answer is no. So my brothers and sisters, I have been asked to specially mention there's a new polling division in Arima. Let us hear it for the people from the Valencia end who are here tonight. There's a team from Makoya in St. Augustine who are on the boundary of Tunapuna. Let us hear it for Makoya tonight. Let us hear it for our brothers and sisters in the Congress of the People. Let us hear it for the entire team in Frontier from the PEP. Dabadi O'Mara, let me hear you. Well, always Malaba Mausika now, right? Malaba Mausika, let me hear you. Arima, let me hear you. St. Augustine, let me hear you. My brothers and sisters, you have been a wonderful audience to our thousands who are viewing on the UNC YouTube channel, including the PNM Macos. we say to you a special good night and thank you for viewing the United National Congress will form the next government. Kamla Prasad-Bessessar will be the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. Reach home safely, brothers and sisters. Thank you. When the UNC wins, everybody wins.
Everybody! When UNC win, everybody wins. Everybody's a winner. When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, everybody wins. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. Tell your neighbor, tell your friend, now is the time to rise and shine. Tell your mother, tell your father, now is the time to decide. If you want leaders who can build, place your ex by the rising sun. If you want leaders who can lead properly, place your ex by the rising sun. On election day, vote UNC. One love, one team, one hope, one dream. On election day, vote UNC. One love, one team, one hope, one dream. When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. Vote for peace, vote for love, vote for hope, vote for change. When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. Tell your neighbor, tell your friend, now is the time to rise and shine. Tell your mother, tell your father, now is the time to decide. If you want leaders who can restore hope, place your ex by the rising sun. If you want leaders who lead with love, place your ex by the rising sun. On election day, vote UNC. One love, one team, one hope, one dream. On election day, vote UNC. One love, one team, one hope, one dream. When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. Vote for peace, vote for love, vote for hope, vote for change. When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. On election day, vote UNC. One love, one team, one hope, one dream. On election day, vote UNC. One love, one team, one hope, one dream.
I want to thank everyone.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. Tell your neighbor, tell your friend, now is the time to rise and shine. Tell your mother, tell your father, now is the time to decide. If you want leaders who can build, place your ex by the rising sun. If you want leaders who can lead properly, place your ex by the rising sun. On election day, vote you.
Again, thank you very much, all of you, for tuning in on ZYE 95.9 FM. We'll see you on Sunday. I'm going to pray the ad one more time.
Listen closely.
Young is bolted to Venezuela's Maduro. If you take God out of your thoughts, to vote for Young, you better brace for U.S. sanctions, say goodbye to U.S. visas, say goodbye to U.S. dollars for business, medicine, traveling, online shopping. Put yourself and your loved ones first.
It's time to rise up Trinidad and Tobago.
Enough is enough.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. Vote UNC.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Honorable Kamla Prasad-Bessessar, Leader of the United National Congress, and the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, who is joining us virtually, Mr. Devendranath Tanku, Chairman of the UNC and the next Member of Parliament for Faizabad, and other members of the UNC executive, His Worship, the Mayor, Mr. Dudnath Meru, Comrade Ansel Roger, President General of the OWTU.
Families together around a table and say, you know what, we can no longer afford to go to the movies twice a week
from the
or 3 times.
Transport Industrial Workers Union, the General Secretary, and the President, Mr. Sean Sobers, the next Member of Parliament for Tabakit, my comrades and friends of the Oilfields Workers Trade Union, and of course, the next Member of Parliament for Point Fortin, Comrade Ernesto Kiza. Point Fortin, good night. All you're looking good. You know, when I joined this political race, I joined it because I was determined that I will do my utmost best to ensure that this government does not see the corridors of power ever again. And when I joined the race, and when Comrade Kiza also joined the race, they say we mad. Because this is Tuesday a seat for the PNM. Labrian Point Fortin, how dare you all? How could you all dare to challenge the PNM? But you see, I know my friend Comrade Kiza will agree with me when I say that we dare to challenge the PNM because we have a belief. Not just a belief in ensuring that this government doesn't return to power, but we have a spiritual belief. Because you see, we believe that the Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? And with God, all things are possible. And those 2 safe seats, come April 28th, will be a shocker for them when the UNC take those 2 seats home. And like my comrades before who spoke directly to the supporters of the other side. I want to say two things to you. The first thing I want to say to you is that I want you to help me understand how you could be PNM till you're dead and PNM self-killing you. I want to understand that concept. Because it escapes me and the logic that I have. That a party that cares, or so they claim to care about you, could treat you in this manner and you say to them, take an X5 again and finish kill me. I can't understand it. I really can't understand it. But in trying to understand it, which is the next thing I want to say to you, I realized that because you seem to think somehow that Eric Williams' philosophy still exists in the PNM, which it does not. Because if you look around, right in Labre and in Point Fortin, we have oil. We have the greatest, largest pitch lake it have in the world. We have gas, which makes up more than 50% of the economy of this country because we're still oil-based and gas-based. And when you look around, what do you see that you could proudly point to and say, because I have voted PNM all these years, and because we prop up Trinidad and Tobago, that is what we have to show? What? Tell me what? So if I go to Labre South, which is the side I am from, we used to have two things that was making us proud. We used to have an oil company that changed names, and the last name was Petrotrin before this one. And the building that we used to pass and see as the administration center used to make us feel good. And then we had the Palo Seco Velodrome, and that used to make us feel good. But when we pass in front of those two places now, we just shame and we just bow our head in disgust and say, oh God, oh Lord, my God, what have we done? We cannot feel good anymore. Because when you pass in front of the Heritage Administration building now, you can't even make it out. You could go and hunt inside there when the season open, and you're sure to catch something. And when I look at the Palo Seco Velodrome, that they break down, that they leave to be deteriorated, break it down, and then say, look, I'm doing all that favor, look, I'm building a velodrome back for you. But it was always there. And you destroyed it. So you're taking what is mine, doing what you want with it. Give me back as you want it and say, look, I do you a favor. And you love me, I love you too. And I can't understand the concept of the PNM people that keep voting for that nonsense. Can you understand it? And when I come across to this side of Labre now, and I look at and I see they have Labidco, I ask myself, how many people from Labre and environs actually working inside that Labidco plant? And when I look at the pitch lake, I ask myself, is this really the best use of that resource that we could find as a country? Because that pitch lake is about 100 acres wide and is more than 200 feet deep. You imagine how much pitch is that? Could you just fathom how much pitch is that? And what we have not been doing, we have not been linking the pitch lake to the roads internationally. Because the roads internationally that we drive on when we go away and we say, oh, look how good the road is here. That road didn't just pop up like the pitch did. That road came from right here that they exported the lake asphalt to build those roads. And yet we have the worst roads in Trinidad and Tobago and the world. And as I talk about the pitch lake, I will be failing in my duty as the next member of parliament if I did not mention a group of young people called No Youth Left Behind. The only sin that they committed was that they did not support Randall Mitchell to be the MP for Labre. That's the only sin they committed. They didn't support him. And for that, they have been faced with victimization upon victimization upon victimization, not just by the government, but by the same man who wants to be the MP. And you claim to care about youths, and that group, predominantly young people, as a matter of fact, only young people, doing human service at the pitch lake for well over 5 years. And just so one morning you said because they're supporting, you're going to lock them out. And you saying because they didn't support you, they support somebody else's internal party business, by the way. But you were so vindictive against your own, or those who you perceive to be your own. Then imagine what you're going to do to me. And they just want to say that the UNC wicked and vindictive. Well, let me tell you something. There's a school in Rosilak Hindu School, that the United National Congress started building but didn't finish. Only because of wickedness, nothing else but wickedness, and the hatred for the people of Labre and Rosilak, they did not finish the school. No other reason. And then they go and spout and spew garbage that I say I wouldn't finish the velodrome when I get into power. Well, the good thing about that statement is that they say when I get into power. You see, I want to tell Trinidad and Tobago something here tonight. The United National Congress has never, ever, ever displayed to have a spirit of discrimination and victimization. Let me tell you why I say that. Notwithstanding that for years upon years upon years and forever, we have never had a UNC MP in Labre. Under the United National Congress, we got a police station in Labre. We got health centers in Labre. We got paved roads in Labre. We got drains in Labre. We got schools in Labre. And we got development and jobs in Labre. Only a caring government could do that for you. So we have never been a vindictive, wicked government, notwithstanding who you support. That is why we say, when UNC wins, everybody wins. And we mean it. And when we say everybody, we didn't say when the UNC wins, UNC supporters win, no. when UNC wins, everybody, including PNM supporters, everybody wins. And I can understand. When I walk through the length and breadth of Labre, because I want to tell people something, I've started a campaign. And my campaign is to go to every single home in Labre. That's my campaign. And the campaign has been so exciting and so engaging that people start to call me, when you come by 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 me. To the point where people saying, well, we have seen him here and we have seen him there. Well, I can't be more than 2 places at the same time because they clone me yet. Right? And I understand your excitement in seeing your next MP. I understand it. And if I didn't come to you before, I come in. But when I walk through the constituency of Labre and I see the pain and the suffering of everybody, but especially the young people, I really cannot understand why PNM still in power. Because I engaged some young men on my walk. 6 of them. The youngest one was 18 and the oldest one was 27. And I asked them, young men, do you mind if I ask you all a question? They said, no. I shook their hands and I told them I'm Clyde Elad, next member of parliament for Labre. And I want your support, but I also want to help you. What are your ages? And they started to tell me the ages. 18, 20, 19, 23, 26. And then I asked them, are you all working? They said, no, Father, we're working solely. And I asked them, do you want to work? They said, Father boy, what kind of question is that, boy? I said, well, I have to ask. Because there's the concept that some young people don't want work. So I want to know if all they want to work. They say, yes, boy. I said, so why are you not working? They say, boy, Father boy, you don't know the struggle here. You don't know the struggle here. We can't get work. And I said to them, if you want to work, put me in power and under UNC government, you will get to work. I could go on, but I just get a note here. Because you see, when I'm representing people, as I've been doing for most of my life, it excites me and it ignites a passion in me that cannot be dimmed. So I will not go on and on tonight, but I promise you in Labre, I will go on and on and on to make sure that you are represented properly, to make sure that you don't have a representative, but you have representation in Labre. And on April 28th, we will all join in victory, because when UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, everybody wins. I thank you, my comrades.
When UNC wins, everybody. Everybody wins. Everybody wins.
Point 14. Good night. That's how I like to hear it. Labre, good night. Trinidad and Tobago, good night. Well, I have a long speech tonight. But after the kind of licks PNM get tonight from the fire up on this stage, from the stalwarts from this part of the country, here now, I could go home feeling good. But that will mean that I get a chance to help put some blows on them. And I want to lose that opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, political leader of the United National Congress and the next Prime Minister of our beloved nation, ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Kamla Prasad-Bessessar. Members of the Blue Army that is here tonight, members of the Green Army that is here tonight, members of the Yellow Army that is here tonight. Tonight is our night to shine a spotlight against the PNM and expose all the racket that they are involved in. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is your chance to be reminded that on April 28th, we can continue the revolution started by the labor movement in this country when they stood up for you decades ago. The weapon we will use on the 28th of April is this finger. Are you ready? Well, I don't want to be long, so I just want to deal with two issues. Two issues. You see, over the last few days, the fellow who calls himself the Prime Minister of this country, and they'll have a next name for him, is called some kind of small pin. I wouldn't go down that road. He's the Prime Minister. He's the Prime Minister. So over the last few days, the outgoing Prime Minister of this country has been lying to this country in your face. Are you taking that? No! That, I almost said Nimakarama, but I promise I wouldn't use those kind of words on the stage. That gentleman, the outgoing Prime Minister, on a platform told this country that the UNC is going to devalue the currency to 15-1. As my political leader said, you hear lie? That is lie! That man should bury his head in shame. Brazen, so coming and lying to the people of this country. That is why nobody believes him. Nobody has confidence in him. They will lie to you to your face and believe that you're stupid enough to believe that. So let me clear it up for him. Because I know that they pay attention when we speak. Because they have no plans, so the ears open. They cock up, they're waiting. They want to listen clearly to hear a plan that they can thief. Because they're thieving everything. All you lock up all your dog and things, they're thieving everything, Breeze are blowing here tonight because they're afraid to get thief. They're thieving breeze too, Let me make it clear. Read my lips, Stuart Young. Read my lips, Stuart Young. No devaluation under the United National Congress. Our political leader has said that time and again. And if you're closing your fridge door and you didn't hear it, let me say it again. No devaluation under the United National Congress. So that deals with line number one. Yeah? Line number one. The next thing that seems to be troubling them, because Ernesto said it earlier. And brother, when you become the member of parliament, I know that you will do better than the existing fella. But we can talk about him afterwards. I want to touch on him afterwards. Your young brother, as you mentioned to him. So we deal with the evaluation. We talk about the fact that they have no plans, so they're listening, they're copying, and they're only talking about their plans. No plans. But you know what the biggest problem they have? This PNM government don't thief out the treasury. They're tackling the Heritage and Stabilization Fund. And they want more to thief. So you know what their biggest problem is? Where are we getting the money to do the things that we say we are going to do? Where are we getting the money to give it 10% and more to workers who deserve more than that in this country? Where are we getting the money to do all the infrastructural works that we have said that we are going to do. Where are we getting the money to build this country and to develop this country? Where are we getting the money? That's the question that they want you to ask us. Because they have no idea, except for borrowing and thieving and selling out your assets for cheap to their friends and their family. They have no idea. For the PNM, the only thing they could do is tax, 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 and thief, 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 and sell, 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 and borrow, borrow, borrow. That's all they could do. But you see, that is the government. That is the PNM. That is why this country is in a crisis. They have no vision. You know, long time, you used to see donkeys driving up the road. Fellas in the cart with the donkeys in front. And they used to put blinkers on the side. You know what the blinkers was for? The blinkers was to keep the donkey focused on the road in front, so nothing could distract them. But this set of donkeys, like the blinkers, cover their eye. They don't know where they're going. They have no clue. Ladies and gentlemen, let me share some information with them. And I'll tell you the irony of this, none of this is new. Over the last 10 years, we have been telling the PNM government what to do to save this country, and they have refused to do it. You know why? Them people don't like nobody. They come and they sing, "We love you, so we take." Let me tell you something, That song wasn't for Trinidad and Tobagonians. That wasn't for you and for me, That wasn't for none of we. Because you see, the PNM cares about 1%. The UNC cares about 100%. Every citizen in this country. So let me start with some ideas. Where are we getting the money from? The first way we are going to get the money from, and there's several, I can't deal with them all tonight, so I'm just going to give you a snapshot. So you will know that we have the plans. So you will know that we have the people. So that you will know that we have the history, the experience, the knowledge, and the willpower. First thing to do is stop the thieving. Stop all of this corruption. Stop all of this racket. And it's not just me saying so, ladies and gentlemen. The Office of the Procurement Regulator, a body set up in the laws of Trinidad and Tobago, whose role it is to monitor and evaluate the operations of contracts, so the award and management of contracts by state agencies. Let me break that down for you. Every time the government gives out a contract to somebody, that body, the procurement regulator, their job is to take a look at it and make sure proper procedures were followed. No corruption exists. So for all intents and purposes, the Office of the Procurement Regulator is the anti-corruption body for government contracts. And let me tell you what that body says. So this is not UNC saying that. We're repeating what was done and provided to the Parliament of this country. The Office of the Procurement Regulator has said that in 1 year, $5 billion under this PNM was given out illegally. $5 billion. But let me tell you who gave it out. This is state contracts. State bodies giving out this contract. You know who are the people who run in the state bodies? Cabinet, PNM cabinet appointed persons are giving out state contracts. You think they're giving it out to you and I? They're giving it out to PNM friend, family, and financiers. They're thieving $5 billion every year for the last 10 years. Do you know how much? 5 by 10, $50 billion. You want to get $50 billion, ladies and gentlemen? Get rid of the PNM now. Stop that thieving now. That's $5 billion. So when you go to the hospital and you can't get tablet, you can't get Panadol, $50 billion gone in somebody's pocket. It have men living millionaire lifestyles in this country off your back. When your children can't get transport to go to school, when you can't afford to get a job, you can't afford to buy books for your children, somebody pocket $50 billion. Are you taking that, ladies and gentlemen? They're thieving it blind. So that's the first way. And I just count $50 billion for you. So you see, every project we identify here, $50 billion that would have organized and orchestrated and implemented every single one of the projects that we are talking about. Those projects could have been up and running and generating a revenue stream for our country. But why is that not happening? Because all the PNM want to do is thief. Is that not a shame? What are you supposed to do when you know that somebody you hired, somebody you put in charge of your home, somebody you put in charge of your business, somebody you give your money to run your country, what are you supposed to do when you find out that they're thieving you blind? Keep them or get rid of them? So what we're going to do on April 28th, get rid of the PNM. So ladies and gentlemen, that's the first way of finding money. And like I said, if you find that just that money, if you stop the corruption, you have enough money to start every single project to diversify the economy. And the next thing to do is to diversify the revenue base. This is common sense, you know. If you want to generate more money, what you have to do? You have to diversify the economy. You have to find new sources of revenue. If you as a homeowner want to have more money in your pocket, you have to look for an next job. You have to look for an next job. Don't do like the PNM and sell the chicken. Sell the chicken, mash it. In fact, they do worse than sell it. They mash down the chicken, they kill him and looking for the egg. So they're talking about Petrotrin. They mash up Petrotrin now, and now we have no foreign exchange. Because they didn't think it, in fact, I shouldn't lie. They did think it through. They actually thought it through. Because a certain protection was afforded by the government to a certain individual. You all remember the Prime Minister of this country, PNM Prime Minister, stood up on a platform and said, the PNM is like the Cosa Nostra. We operate under oath of secrecy. And if you break that oath of secrecy, we will kill you politically dead. All you remember that? Do you know what the Cosa Nostra is? That is the biggest mafia gang in the world. Mafia involved in all kind of racketeering. The Prime Minister, the head of the PNM, calling his party, and if anybody going to enter, he saying that there's a bunch of crooks, liars, gangsters, and thieves. Well, when Tobagonians have a saying, when fish jump out of the water and say, shark daddy, shark daddy. So if the man who's supposed to know admits and confesses that the PNM is full of crooks, anyway, let me move forward from there. How to diversify the revenue base? Well, it's two parts of it. You look at the existing industries and you look at new industries. I'm telling you, when I say it, all you go realize is common sense. Common sense. Existing industries. You have to improve the ease of doing business. You have to make people want to invest in this country. You have to make individuals in this country want to put their money in to start businesses. You all remember when Point Fortin and Library were booming? You remember when around every corner I had big business? As you're going down the road, all around the roadway had a little place selling all kinds of things. You know why that is not happening now? Because people are frightened. So that's the next thing you need to do. Crime has become the biggest problem in this country. The biggest problem facilitated by the PNM. When they leave the borders open, so drugs and guns and illegal human trafficking could take place, who do you think they're facilitating? That is the PNM facilitating crime in this country. Are you taking that? No. So improve the ease of doing business. Make things easier for doing business. And if you're a small or medium-sized business owner, you know that you have to cry and beg to get your VAT back. So fix the VAT. Fix the operations of the VAT office. Make sure we put something in place so people can get their VAT refunds quickly. Improve access to foreign exchange. We have spoken about this before. There's a foreign exchange cabal operated by the PNM, facilitated by the PNM, where when you want to go and get a little change, you want to go and get $100 to buy something online, is pressure. And now I hear that the banks have now reduced even that access that you would have had to foreign exchange. Who do you think that facilitating? That facilitating big business, not small business. And around here, watch around. Watch around. Small and medium-sized businesses are catching the nenen. So the first way of improving and getting funding is diversifying the revenue base on existing industries. Make people, create the environment so people want to invest more. That is what we did from 2010 to 2015, you know. There was business growth throughout this country. Left, right, and center. From Moruga all the way up to Port of Spain. From Mayaro all the way down to Cedros. Businesses were growing because people feel confident. You think people feeling confident today? Again, I don't have to prove that, you know. Because there was a newspaper report done by Ernst & Young. A whole report done by Ernst & Young, which said that 72% of the people they surveyed, which is business people, did not have confidence in this economy under this PNM government. And that is why there's no business growth here. You ever went to the bank and tried to get a loan? They ask you for every single part of your life. They want your name, they want your father's name, they want to know when last year. Anyway, let me go down there. They want to know all your business because systems have not been put in place that are user-friendly for us. It is user-friendly for other people. Although remember during COVID, businesses were begging on the streets here. Begging. Carl Mimbert came to Parliament for 2 years straight saying we have agreed to put hundreds of millions of dollars to ensure that small business could access funding and could stay alive during COVID, just like the rest of the world were doing. And then 1 year afterwards come and say, you know how much people get through with it? None. Because the small businesses didn't have what was required. The rules and regulations were not put in place to allow small business to benefit. So, confront crime, improve the ease of doing business, improve VAT administration, improve foreign exchange access in a transparent way. That is how you improve, and more, that is how you improve and increase the revenue base from existing industries. The other part of that is to create new business, find new industries. And I just want to give you one. We have here, anybody remember these things? We have here a 12-pillar plan. What we did is we created a series of growth poles throughout the country. Because when UNC plans, we don't plan for Central alone, we don't plan for North alone, we don't plan for the East alone, we don't plan for the West alone, we plan for all of Trinidad and Tobago. So it's 11 growth poles. I want to touch just on the one that is directly related here. Cedros Moruga Southwest Peninsula Economic Zone. Let me tell you what that is. This is a special development zone which links Cedros to Moruga and which will become a major economic hub in the Southwest Peninsula of Trinidad. This will tap into future strong growth opportunities in nearby Guyana and Suriname. The Cedros Moruga Economic Zone will comprise a commercial port, agriculture, real estate, housing, and other business activities. We have a plan that will develop a segment of this country here, Cedros, Moruga, and there will be spin-off all through this. We have a plan for the energy sector too. And with the help and support of my brothers from the trade union, the energy sector will be returned to some level of glory in this country. Everywhere else in the world, people are desperate for oil and gas. And while people are desperate for oil and gas, this government killing it. You know why? Because they're protecting their friends and their families. That is why our whole industry shut down. Whole communities becoming ghost towns, struggling to survive because they're protecting their friends and families. That is Cosa Nostra. That is the code of silence. That is the criminal conduct of the PNM, and we must not let them continue with that. But while we have plans, these are the same PNM people who tell you they're bringing a plywood factory down here to create jobs. Do you remember that? Do you remember when they closed down Petrotrin and they say, come down, all the workers from Petrotrin could come to Labre because we're building a port, a dry dock in Labre, and workers in Petrotrin who are familiar with oil and gas will come and work in a dry dock. Do you remember that? Ladies and gentlemen, I could go on and on because the United National Congress has a multiplicity of plans, programs, and activities which will improve this country. All you want to know where we get the money from? We are going to improve existing businesses and we are going to create new businesses. With new businesses and improve the existing businesses, we will have more foreign exchange. We will have more jobs. We will have more infrastructural development. We will have more harmony, productivity, growth, and development throughout Trinidad and Tobago. Do you believe that, ladies and gentlemen? That is the caring UNC government, ladies and gentlemen. And I will tell you this, as I end, I will tell you this. We have the track record. Because from 2010 to 2015, the economy grew. From 2015 to now, it has collapsed. We are smaller now than we were in 2015. Although they spent $560 billion, you have nothing to show for it. So, ladies and gentlemen, I trust that you would have listened carefully. I trust that the PNM would have learned a little something tonight. This is not old talk. We have done it before, and we will do it again. With your support, ladies and gentlemen, the United National Congress will win the next election. With your support, ladies and gentlemen, with your support, I will become the next member of parliament for Faizabad. And I will be willing to stand at the door of the parliament and welcome my brother Elder as the next member of parliament for Labre. And welcome my brother Ernesto as the next member of parliament for Point Fortin. And welcome 39 new members of parliament representing the United National Congress and our partners. Ladies and gentlemen, say this with me. I would like to get my colleagues here on the stage. I would like to get my two colleagues here on the stage because we have something to remind you about. You see, elections have consequences, ladies and gentlemen. For the last 10 years, you've had a PNM member of parliament here and a PNM government, and nothing has been given to you. Always burn and learn, not so? So we have a little session for you. I don't claim to be a singer. I don't claim to be a singer. I don't claim to be a singer. Come, join me. Join me. The muscle man of the UNC. You see, we have power in this place, you know. Our party is a powerful party. Now, I don't know if my brother could sing, but we have a song for you tonight. We have a song for you tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And I welcome you to join us. It is very simple. It is very simple, but it is a lesson and a reminder. Let me go.
PNM, they don't like labor. PNM, they only want vote. And as soon as they get in power, they have a knife to bust your throat. But as labor, we do have power. And it's time we cut this out. We vote them in with his finger, and with his finger we go vote them out. PNM, they don't like labor. PNM, they only want to vote. And as soon as they get in power, they have a knife to bust your throat. And as labor, we do have power. And it's time we cut this out. We vote them in with his finger, and with his finger we go vote them out.
UNC, remember that when UNC wins, everybody wins.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. Vote for peace. Vote for love. Vote for hope. Vote for change. When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins.
Kept us in the know when it comes to what's going on at Petrotrin. He's dedicated himself to public service with a distinguished career spanning both the private and political. He served as the former chairman of MIC Limited as well as the former chairman of the United National Congress, and currently he holds the esteemed position of deputy political leader of the UNC. UNC family, St. Augustine, the man coming from Claxton Bay, came up here. He has a lot to tell you. Please put your hands together for Dr. David Lee.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Trinbago wins. Everybody wins.
Thank you. Thank you. Before I get into my speech here tonight, Baje, we're live on TV6 right now. We're live on TV6. I want to wish all the viewers on TV6, welcome to Paje Main Road. Paje is in the house here. I was listening to Dr. Munila. He told me raise the tempo, so I'm going to raise the tempo here tonight. I hope I raise it, the lion. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to start off by saying, give our MP for St. Augustine a round of applause for the massive crowd, the massive mobilizing that we are seeing witness here on the bus route. Tonight I was driving up here and I want to say good night to our political leader, the Honorable Kamla Prasad-Bessessar. Give her a round of applause. She's locked on and listening and viewing. I was coming up on the bus route just now and Stuart Young was flying down on the bus route. And he was really flying because when he saw this massive crowd, he had to fly. And I was waiting my turn to come on and speak here tonight. And someone who was with him in the crowd, he walked into Napuna with Desmond Ford this afternoon. And the person was telling me that 90% of the people did not come out and greet Stuart Young. The people who were in their cars did not even turn down their glass to greet Stuart Young. That tells you on April the 28th, we will give Stuart Young a licking of his life. So when I was coming down, the speed that Stuart Young was going down, he knew I was speaking here tonight. He know the real Chinese coming up in Paje to talk tonight. The real Chinese. It I know this Chinese born on Henry Street. I was born in Diego Martin. Now Stuart Young say he born on Henry Street. And I'll tell you where he born in Henry Street. There was a nursing home on the Oxford and Henry Street he was born in. That's why he's saying he born in Henry Street. It's not Victoria Gardens. He grew up in Victoria Gardens. I'll leave for you to talk about Lal Bihari, Dr. Munilal and Khadija. Tonight, my brothers and sisters, we join on the election battlefield. On the walls of the PNM government are crumbling. Their grip on power is ending. And their reign of misery on us as a people of this nation is coming to an end on April the 28th at 6 p.m., my brothers and sisters. Tonight, I call on every UNC supporter to stand proud because on Tuesday this week, this country saw proof that Stuart Young is no match for Kamla Prasad-Bessessar. He collapsed after 24 hours. Now Stuart Young, as Annel in the crowd here saying small pin. Stuart Young, he told his new cabinet he wanted to take a little cricket match. And he said, well, I could take a bowl against Kamla. So he asked Kamla, he batted and he's so greedy he wanted to go first. So he asked Kamla, what kind of ball you going and bowl me? She said, the Chinaman. And she out his wicket right after at 3:45 p.m. on Tuesday. Stuart Young and his government could not survive 48 hours against Kamla and the UNC. Stuart Young swore in a cabinet at 3 p.m. on Monday. On Monday, he swore in his new cabinet. And by 3:50 p.m. the next day on Tuesday, he was forced to dissolve and mash up Parliament. On Monday, Young and his government stood in the President's house promising prosperity and progress. He told us that. But after they listened to the leader of the opposition on Monday night in Brazil, in La Joqueta, Talparo, a bumper crowd we had up there, the very next day on Tuesday, the only option Stuart Young had was to call an election. Trinidad and Tobago, do not be fooled into thinking that shutting down the parliament was a planned strategic move by Young and Rowley. They were caught napping after Kamla caught them on Monday night, and after Munilal put a licking on Stuart Young, they had to call election the next day. You can't. Let me tell you something. Rowley thought he was giving a man, he gave a boy to do a man job there. That's why he couldn't last. He could not last against the pressure of Imbert and Foster and those others. He couldn't do it. He couldn't stand up to Imbert, and he wanted to come and lead you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, for 5 years. Run him. Never in the history, listen to this, never in the history of minister politics has a prime minister been appointed one day and the very next day dissolve parliament. As a country, ask yourself, which prime minister does not want to go to parliament to contribute and to be recorded on Hansard? A prime minister like Young, who boastful, one who was not elected, but rather coronated. So we had the cuckoo king coronating the Chinese boy. You know, he called it, I didn't say it, Rowley say he's the cuckoo man. As a country, ask yourself, which prime minister with 4 months of parliamentary time left, 4 months left in parliament before the session ends, does not want to go to parliament with legislation to improve the lives of you, the citizens. A prime minister like Young, one who has failed in every single government portfolio that he has held. The reality is, Young's mashing up of parliament was caused by his inability to have any defense, response, or credible answers to the question raised by the UNC. Young knew he could not risk going to parliament because the opposition would have made him account for his records. Young knew he couldn't risk going to parliament because we in the opposition would expose the unlawful nature of his appointment. Young knew he couldn't risk going to parliament because he does not have the full support and protection of his own members. On his own members, like Young got wind that Kamla was going to bring a motion of no confidence in his tail, and he dissolved parliament. And you know why Kamla would have bring that motion of no confidence? Because she might have been told by his own members to bring it. So he ran. For the last 10 years, Keith Rowley told us that Stuart Young was his Gary Sobers of the cabinet. Yet this week, the first bell that rung, Young couldn't stand up to the test of Imbert and Foster. He had to dissolve parliament. Keith Rowley has spent the last 10 years misleading this country to believe that he was the grand defender of our constitution and the pillar of patriotism. You know, Rowley like to say he's the best patriot we have in this country. He and Young. Every word come out of Young mouth, he's a patriot. But he's fooling the people. Trinidad and Tobago, no other prime minister has attacked and disregarded the independent institutions of our nation like Rowley and Young and his government. In the last week, you saw the greatest assault on this nation's democracy when Rowley imposed someone who was not selected by his own party or elected by you, the people of this nation, to lead our development. In the last week, Rowley and Young had made a mockery of the PNM and the Constitution and the President. Why would you make the President prepare instruments of appointment and use thousands of dollars of taxpayers' money for a swearing in if you were planning to dissolve the parliament within 24 hours? He had a big soiree on Monday. He fly down his brother, he fly down his sister-in-law, he bring in his mother, he bring in his father, they put on a nice suit, and in 24 hours he dissolved parliament. And they want to tell you and fool you and tell you it was strategic. It is because they have failed as a government and Stuart Young had to call election.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio, WZYE 95.9 FM.
Could not even rally behind him to full Woodford Square. It was a ghost town in Woodford Square on Sunday. On Sunday, I felt embarrassed for Keith Rowley because after 10 years, all he could do was to carry us down the same foolishness that he talks since 2016. But that is Rowley's specialty. He and the PNM like to carry Trinidad and Tobago down a rabbit hole. They like to rile up the population on witch hunts and allegations to distract the country from what they are really doing. Tonight, I want to ask the country, where was the logic in Rowley resigning Sunday for the Prime Minister to dissolve the Parliament in 48 hours? I want the country to ask themselves, why didn't Rowley simply stay on as Prime Minister, dissolve the Parliament on Tuesday, just as what Young did, and then allow Young to lead the campaign? You know why? He did not want to play golf undisturbed. Rowley and Young orchestrated this entire assault on your democracy so that Stuart Young could eat a food with the Prime Minister's salary. The opposition leader called them out before she told you that all Young had to do was serve one day, and you will receive the pension, the Prime Minister's salary for life. And you know what? He did that. In 24 hours, he called an election. So Kamla Prasad-Bessessar is always right once more. We keep doubting that lady. On Sunday, Rowley riled you up as a population and went down the rabbit hole, OAS. And I'm sure Dr. Munial will come here and talk the truth about OAS. But what is the real bubble was grounded in the fact that your children and grandchildren would be forced to pay Stuart Young a pension of $87,000 per month for his rest of his life after serving one day. The very same government that wants to take away your pension, your pension once you have over $25,000 saved in your bank for a rainy day. And we thought, the opposition thought, at least Stuart Young would have come to the Parliament and removed that dreaded bill, that motion to take away a pension from the order paper. At least as a minimum, he would have done that. So you know what that tells me, ladies and gentlemen? Once you put back the PNM, they are coming for your pension. Do not take God out of your thought. Do not. On Sunday, I honestly thought that because Rowley was leaving office, the country might finally witness an honest, sane, and calm contribution based on facts. But Rowley's speech was like all of his other speeches in the last 10 years. It was a collection of distorted untruths and fictional madness. Tonight, I must clear the record. On Sunday, he boasted that the opposition never brought a motion of no confidence against him. We didn't have to do that. We didn't have to bring a motion of no confidence on him. He alone brought it on himself and he resigned Sunday. We didn't have to bring a motion of no confidence. He shut down Petrotrin. So he has done his own motion of no confidence on himself. Tonight I want to remind, Rowley like to talk about UNC, and we so, and we this, and we that. I want to remind Rowley of something, because he like to call my name, and I have no doubt he will call David Lee's name soon. On Sunday, Rowley tried to fool our country as he left office into thinking that he ran a government that had no scandals. Let us remind him. Tonight I want to remind him of the late Marley McDonald, fired twice from your cabinet. On one instance, she was appointed Friday, and by Saturday, she gone. Tonight, I want to remind him of the Darrell Smith report that Annel always talk about. Tonight, I want to remind him of the Laura Lizama leasing. Didn't she resign from the Senate last year? I want to remind him of what a fella down in Sawa Barataria. He was a senator called Hafiz Ali, about a video. I want to remind Rowley about the Malcolm Jones and the waste of money that they did on Petrotrin. That is why Petrotrin had to close down today, my brothers and sisters. I want to remind Rowley about the Nelson Gate. I want to remind the country of the sitting Minister of Public Utilities who was demoted from finance. He was demoted from finance. That is Imbert. Didn't the Privy Council say, the judge, say we need to investigate Imbert? Don't be fooled by Rowley, my brothers and sisters. Don't be fooled. During last Sunday's rally, I thought Stuart Young was in a play. I thought he was in a play in Napa, because he has given promises. I know he couldn't keep the promises. He given promises and he talking like he would rather die for the people of this nation. And he would fight for the sovereignty of your soul of this nation. What Rowley is say about that? That is what cocky pot? Cockle, some kind of thing is poppycock. That is a lot of poppycock by Stuart Young. A lot. Stuart Young saying he's a pan lover. What the hell I hear here? He's a pan lover. Stuart Young don't know what pan is. You know what rock music is. You know about wrong. You know about pan. But it sounds good to say he's a pan lover. Right? Last Sunday we heard Young's fake outrage when he told the country he was infuriated by the Piarco's airport costs. Hence he joined the PNM. You hear chippiness? But it's the same Stuart Young who had no problem when NGC, under his tenureship, wasted $240 million of your money on Train 1. It is the same Stuart Young had no problem when Rowley would spend millions on Casabon paintings for that residence. I hope when Rowley left, he leave the Casabon paintings. In the last few weeks, I have seen Young boasted about reforming education sector. So for 10 years, he was there as the Gary Sobers. He didn't know about the education sector. He didn't think it needed reforming. For 10 years, he was with Rowley. They closed down the hospitality school in Chaguaramas, and then they want to talk about Rowley opening the airport in Tobago and say they will bring back sandals. What stupidness we hear in here? Don't be fooled. If you ever wanted to know the meaning of our pickup side, just look at Young cabinet. As Dr. Munilal tell you, they move a man from national security and they put him in the office of the prime minister and they have a big couch, he go in and sleep. I don't even think he realized that Parliament dissolved. I think he's still sleeping on our couch. Imagine the new Attorney General, based on the Trinidad Express, and I know Saddam talked about it, which was Camille. When the last time she practiced law, they had no cell phones in this country or no Wi-Fi. That's the last time I understand she practiced law. We didn't have cell phone and Wi-Fi. Right? So that is the Attorney General for Stuart Young. Then they bring a man, Stuart Young bring a man from England called Dan Paul. I know Dan Paul. I want to tell all you I know that. I went to school in CIC with Dan Paul. In my days, we didn't do any bullying in CIC. I don't know what happened when Stuart Young went into CIC, but in my days, we didn't have bullying in CIC. But I know Dan Paul. Dan Paul is a product of the PNM. He is a PNM. So don't let us be fooled and come and tell him front page, no hardship under me. Meaning he's the Minister of Finance and there'll be no hardship. He was the Permanent Secretary under Imbert when they shut down Petrotrin. He is the chairman of the refinery committee that is bringing and gave awarded the Petrotrin refinery to a company called in Nigeria, Oando, which is a failing oil company in Nigeria. So if Dan Paul want to get in, Dan Paul want to get in the Gael, we will get in the Gael with Dan Paul. So let us not be fooled. My time has come to an end. And they have a man called Imbert. Imbert, I always said, and I am correct, Imbert could have never sat in a cabinet and called in Stuart Young, Prime Minister Young. If anybody know Imbert not subjecting himself in calling Young Prime Minister Young. When do you think I can meet with you to discuss water rates and tea and tech rates? And then Young will say, well, I have to check my schedule, Imbert, and I will get back to you. You ever could see that madness happening with Imbert, Dr. Munila? Never in this world, Imbert. So you know who collapsed our government besides Kamla? Imbert collapsed that government. Imbert. So don't take God out of your thought. Let me tell you something as I come to an end. Tonight, I am proud of my sister Khadija Amin in St. Augustine. The kind of crowd we are witnessing here tonight as we open the battle for election, it will tell me we'll keep growing as we go along for the next 40 days. We have 39 days, I think, and counting. Tonight, I am proud of the work of our party has done. I am proud of the vision and direction of our leader, the Honorable Kamla Prasad-Bessessar, and her selfless work she has done over the last 10 years in opposition. As a party, we can confirm that United Congress, National Congress, is ready to win. The fact is the UNC has been leading a campaign for years, now not just before election. In the last 2 years, you have seen our anti-crimes and health tongue meetings. Devo was in there, Devish Maharaj. Those were geared to create our vision for crime. That is why the leader has put over 70 plans to address crime and health. In the last few months, we have seen our constant meetings with the unions as we craft the workers' agenda and form strong bonds with the labor movement. They are afraid of us forming that movement with the labor. As a party, we didn't wait on the election bell to place candidates in key marginals. That was done in advance. We have placed some of the most dynamic and high caliber candidates in these marginals as we work to secure our victory. The UNC is ready to win, but most importantly, when the UNC wins, every one of us in this compound wins. As a country, you can be guaranteed that when the UNC wins, your homes will be free from property tax. When the UNC wins, you can be assured that businesses will grow and will cut business taxes and incentivize the economy. When the UNC wins, you can be assured of proper cancer treatment, dialysis, and NCD treatment as we work to improve our health care. When the UNC wins, you can be assured of more money in your pocket as we will reduce VAT on 7,000 food items. When the UNC wins, you can be assured of laptops for all your children and places in schools and more scholarships. When the UNC wins, your safety will be returned with our stand the ground legislation. On April 28th will mark the most important day on our nation's recent history. It is a day we must decide between the crisis and chaos of the PNM or the plans to rebuild our TNT under the UNC. April 28th is the day you decide between Young's selfish, inexperienced leadership or Kamla's visionary, tested, and progress-driven government. Let us win with the UNC, because when the UNC win, everybody wins in Trinidad and Tobago. I thank you.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinidad.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mikey, for that very warm welcome to this podium. Brothers and sisters assembled here in your thousands, give yourselves a round of applause. This is one of the biggest political meetings we have seen in some time. It signals the beginning of our campaign with an election declared. Brothers and sisters, let me begin acknowledging our great political leader, Member of Parliament for Siparia, Leader of the Opposition, former Prime Minister, and after April 28, the next Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, the Honorable Kamla Prasad-Bessessar. May I also acknowledge the presence of my parliamentary colleagues, members of the local government fraternity assembled here, members of the UNC National Executive, members of the constituency of St. Augustine, surrounding areas with us tonight. May I also acknowledge the presence of former government minister and former chairman of the United National Congress, the Honorable Austin Jack Warner, former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Senator Wade Stephen Mark, former ministers of government who are here tonight with us. Several former ministers are here. Several candidates are here. We have already acknowledged some. Later we will acknowledge all. And I want to tell Mikey K, he mixed up somebody here and calling me, because we have here the former Chutney King of Trinidad and Tobago, Adesh Samaru, is also here. And he's the real singer. Brothers and sisters, we are streaming live on several social media platforms. We are also live on IETV. We are live on TV6. We have online at this moment over 6,000 viewers online. We are on radio. We are on the airways. We are in your hearts tonight. And we are ready. So if the PNM is not ready, the UNC is ready, and we are on the ground. They are scrunting, they are begging, they are going to all our activists and asking them to speak to the leaders of this party, the leader and others, begging for spots on radio and TV because the media has gone UNC with all their coverage. Brothers and sisters, I want to welcome folks throughout the Caribbean, our CARICOM brothers and sisters who have taken a keen interest in this transition in Trinidad and Tobago to the next government of the United National Congress. Welcome our brothers and sisters in Canada, Vindra in Miami, who listened on Monday as well and tonight would be listening with her family there. Our friends in New York, our family, our supporters, well-wishers throughout North America and Europe who are tuning this evening. We want to welcome you. This evening we meet on sacred ground. St. Augustine is the heart of the UNC on the East-West Corridor. Tonight, St. Augustine is telling the country when the UNC wins, everyone wins. A special welcome this evening, you know. I see some of these dissident fellas and somebody said that they resign. Parliament dissolved 12 o'clock on Tuesday, a fella resigned Wednesday morning. But there's nothing to resign from, you gone already? Fella say he resigned, but Parliament end 12 o'clock midnight, there's nothing to resign from. He gone. Tonight, that is the point, you know. The fella pay cut at 12 midnight. So he said, well, me have nothing to stay for now, I resign. Because he don't get his money and gone. So brothers and sisters, tonight a special lady in our audience. Could you all welcome a former protocol officer of the former Prime Minister Patrick Manning, a constituency executive, member of the PNM for many years, who have now joined us in San Fernando East, join us in Pache. Welcome our sister Wendy Lewis, who is here with us this evening. And Wendy is working with Maka in San Fernando East, who will become the next member of parliament for San Fernando East, brothers and sisters. Tonight I've been hearing about this, Jacka hearing about this cricket analogy and so on. Now I know cricket good, eh? I know cricket good. So people who don't know cricket, I will tell you something. Rowley calls Stuart Young, he Gary Sobers. Now fellas who young like me, all you may remember or not, in 1968 in a test match in Port of Spain, and nobody here might know that, they had a famous test match. I think it was the 4th test match in Port of Spain. The West Indies made 526 runs in a first innings. Like plenty runs. England went on to make 404 runs in their first innings. Gary Sobers was the captain. You know what he do? And in the West Indies second innings, it was 92 for 2. Rohan Kanhai was not out. He declared the innings. You know England going on to beat the West Indies and win the series? That was called the infamous Sobers Declaration. I want to tell you something. 52 years ago, now, we had on Tuesday a Sobers Declaration, and he will lose the general election. The man they had a swearing in on Monday and a swearing out on Tuesday. This is the first man that will be Prime Minister of this country who will not see inside the Parliament as a Prime Minister. Let me tell you something. In the airport, they put up all the Prime Minister picture. You know that? Under every Prime Minister, Eric Williams, Chambers, Robinson, and so on, they put the date they serve. So you will see 1986 to 1981, Mr. Pandey, this to that, Mrs. Prasad-Bessessar, that to that. What they're going and put on the Stuart Young picture? He was Prime Minister from March 2025 to April 2025. That's what they're going to put there? Lambert? President Lambert, that's what they will put. The fella will not see inside the parliament as Prime Minister. He will go in the airport for 1 month. On there they'll put 1 month he was Prime Minister. But Rowley put him there. Rowley didn't have the mouth to call election. He wanted to give Stuart Young $87,000 a month for the rest of his life. So Rowley couldn't wait 6 weeks to call election. He put Stuart Young there. That is what they have done, brothers and sisters. And when you couldn't get a food card, you couldn't get a hamper, you lost your job, you couldn't provide books for your children, he going with $87,000. Tonight I want to call on all these great lawyers, the brilliant lawyers on the UNC bench and supporters, or let's start devising some legislative change to deal with that one. That is a travesty of democracy and justice, and we must deal with it. We must confront it. You cannot have that. And in 24 hours, his government collapsed. They collapsed, they imploded in 24 hours. They put a whole cabinet together. What that cabinet doing? Them fellas will not even find the minister office. They will not even find where the washroom is. And they have to demit office. That fella named Vishnu Danpal, he's a PNM, everybody know that. Brothers and sisters, he will become the first finance minister of this country never to deliver a budget speech. When he going to deliver the budget speech in the parlor in Paget? When we going to deliver that in the restaurant? He will never deliver a budget speech in his life, and he will be a former minister of finance. This is the joke that they have put us through, brothers and sisters. This is what they are doing. So Stuart Young cannot run the country for 24 hours. And now we come in to tell you, give him 5 years. But he can't run the country for 24 hours, you know. Now he want what, 5 years? Every day his army is being depleted. Wendy, others, many others are joining us, brothers and sisters, in this remarkable ascendancy led by the Honorable Kamla Prasad-Bessessar. Mrs. Prasad-Bessessar is on the verge of history. She is on the verge of history to return as Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. And I'll speak specifically about her role and her readiness in a few moments, brothers and sisters. So what I want to tell you tonight is they have collapsed. Have you seen the wake they had on Sunday, the funeral? Tonight we have 3 times the amount of people in Paget than they had in Woodford Square. 3 times. You know, I tell people, when you have a new political, look at people, even I now amazed with the screen. Look at that. And that is not a file photo, you know. That is real and live. Brothers and sisters, they had a meeting at Woodford Square. Do you know when a party change leader and so on, Stuart Young comes, he's of course a new leader. Normally you will think that the party will have some bounce, you know, they'll get a bounce or something. Them get bounced down. Didn't get bounced, they get bounced down. The party is deflated. Their cabinet is split. Their coalition is falling apart. They cannot manage the affairs of the country. Parliament gone, dissolved, closed down. But even before Parliament was dissolved, anybody know when Parliament meet last? Parliament has not been meeting. February 5th, we met. Before that in January, and only for 2 emergency issues. The state of emergency, which you had to meet, and the appointment of the Commissioner of Police, which you had to meet again. They have no agenda, no policy, no program, no legislation to take to the people. This is a new Prime Minister. Khadija and others said it. You would think they would have now to come to Parliament and say, this is a new Prime Minister. We have new legislation, fresh policy and so on. They have nothing, brothers and sisters. They have nothing. And they are deflated. Today, Mrs. Prasad-Bessessar has won another major victory for democracy. When Stuart Young conceded, put his tail between his legs and understood that we must have international observers for the election. You remember what Rowley said, you know, Stuart Young will not tell you that, but I want to remind you because I was there. And I reached this stage now where I don't forget easily. That might happen in the future, but not now. In Parliament, you know what Rowley said, the Hansard is there. He said, I will invite CARICOM. We don't need Commonwealth. We don't need Carter Center and all of them. We don't want them to tell us how to run an election. CARICOM is enough. You all forget that, you know. Today they put the tail between their leg because of the pressure of Kamla Prasad-Bessessar and the United National Congress. They were never going to invite Commonwealth, Carter Center and OAS and so on. They were never doing it. It is the pressure. And CARICOM, with all respect to all the people in CARICOM and so on, do never forget, CARICOM had certified the Guyana election in 2020 as fair, as proper, as free. And when CARICOM certified that, the Carter Center said it was the most transparent attempt to thief an election they have ever seen. Never forget that. So we have concerns with that CARICOM, not the people of CARICOM, but that institution. We have concerns with that. And Mrs. Prasad-Bessessar was right to say that we cannot trust and we cannot depend on CARICOM. She was right. And they could say what they want. She was right. CARICOM had stamped the approval to the Guyanese election, which was fraudulent. Never forget that. Brothers and sisters, tonight we bring to you a new, vibrant UNC team. Stuart Young say is a new chapter. There is a new chapter in an old, disgusting book. I want to tell you something. A snake will shed its skin, but the nature of a snake cannot change. A snake, Adesh, can't change its nature, but it has changed its skin. What we are seeing here, they change its skin, but it's the same snake, it's the same PNM. That is the same Young. And I want to tell him without talking too much about it, because a lot of speakers went in detail. You cannot unbully yourself. You can't unbully yourself, sir. I mean, I must tell you, when I was in high school, I make papers too, you know. I win a debating competition and I make papers. I never make papers for that. The fella was in high school and his name was in the Mirror. Some of you remember the Mirror, the bomb. Some of you remember the Punch too. So, I see a smile now on Dr. Lakram Boudou's face there. I didn't see whole evening, you know. But anyway, brothers and sisters, I couldn't believe when you were in school, high school, you could make papers for bullying a student and causing that student to drop out and be denied the right to do their exams. Stuart Young did that and he's no different today. He's no different today. He put this whole team together, Imbert, Camille Robinson, Hines. What you bringing them back for? You bring back them? I want to tell you, under the next government of the UNC, no minister will be collecting bribes for work permits.
Yeah, I'm going to shut it
Take
down.
Take that in your pipe and smoke it. No minister of a UNC administration will be collecting bribe for issuing work permits. And I want to tell you something. The minister who is doing that is known. And the American authorities know. They know who it is. They are on the tracks. I say no more about that at this time.
Yes.
Camille Robinson Regis, we heard about her. This woman actually gone and said she didn't pass maths. She didn't pass mathematics. One of my contacts in HDC tell me they believe that, Barry, because sometimes they put she to talk and she gone on the mic and say, testing 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. They know she couldn't count to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. She was only saying 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So they know she failed maths. But she boasting about that, like something to boast about. You hide if you fail maths, man. You don't tell nobody that. You don't tell nobody that. Camille Robinson Regis is a disgrace for the Attorney General. And Saddam Hussein, I think, dealt with some of that matters before. But brothers and sisters, I want to raise one or two new matters with you very briefly before I close. Today at the Cabinet Media Conference, they announced an appointment. The Parliament has been dissolved. Election has been called. They appointed a gentleman today as head of the Strategic Services Agency, SSA, Senator Leida. Right? A former policeman by the name of Arthur Barrington. They are going to give us this man to work with for 3 years? Not a hell of that. I could tell you that one time. Not. That is happening here tonight. Mr. Watts, that is happening here tonight. So this man was the guy, they put him in charge, Annel, of doing a report on the issuance of firearms of, last year, 23, I think. Him, Arthur Barrington, and a distinguished Commodore Hayden Prasad from the Defense Force. Two of them had to do a report on the issuance of firearm. Hayden Prasad did not sign the report. Arthur Barrington alone signed the report that led to the undermining of the Police Service Commission, the Commissioner of Police, and the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service that did damage to 3 major institutions. Arthur Barrington was signing off on a report that cast aspersions on police officers to satisfy Keith Rowley. Today, he is rewarded as director of the SSA. So he now in charge of spying, listening to your conversations, intercepting emails and WhatsApp and texts and so on. So that is a dangerous man to put there because he will give Rowley and Stuart Young what they want. He will do what former head of the SSA, Roger Best, did not want to do. He will want to do what they did not want to do. And they are desperate, brothers and sisters. I want to tell you something tonight. The writing is on the wall. They will lose the elections and they are desperate. The writing is on the wall. But I think they thief the wall too. Because they're not seeing it. But their time is limited. Now is a time for nastiness from them. Mischief, deception. They will hound down opposition members now. Now is the time. And they will use the SSA under this new fella who they appointed today. I call upon the government and Mr. Young and others, do not cease and desist from making appointments to the government service when you are weeks away from a general election and there's a change of governance that is imminent. You ought not to be making appointments like that when you are changing government. So Mr. Barrington is known. And he cannot sit as head of the SSA in the circumstances that we find ourselves in. Another piece of news I want to tell you. They went the other day to open, Dr. Rishi, the central block. They didn't open no central block. They opened a shell. Senator Naked, I don't call him Dr. Naked now, you know. I don't know how he reached inside there, but he reached Dr. Naked. He ducked in. So, they open a shell. So, what it is, a piece of lobster or something, you dig out and you dig out and you dig out. You know what they did, I have confirmed only today? They asked the people who doing the outfitting to outfit 1 floor, Dr. Bodo, out of 13 floors. So they had 1 floor, it was the 5th floor, sorry. The 5th floor is outfitted, right? All the rest of the floor, complete state of disrepair, not even tiles on the ground. No water, toilet facilities not working, air conditioner not working, nothing is there. No furniture, of course, no medical equipment. On the 5th floor, they say only people to go on the 5th floor. That's the only thing they want to show people. They put a fella in the elevator, and he was the elevator police. And when you go in the elevator, the only thing he could press is 5. And when you finish, he pressed ground floor. So nobody could go anywhere in that building. Today, they have problems with plumbing. That building will not be opened by no PNM government. It is a United National Congress has to go and clean up that mess. So here this one. Do you know the Northwest Regional Health Authority? And I think Kevin has the photographs. Over the last 6 months, they boasting, we building the central block, hospital bed, administration center. UNC didn't want to do it. We building, man. You know what they went and do? They went and rent a building opposite the Northwest in Port of Spain, a place called Dare Street, D-E-R-E, if that's the right pronunciation. Dare Street. They rent that building on your screen there. They build in a central block, huh? But watch the gimmickry. They rent that building for $400,000 per month. And we come into the owner. As Jack used to tell me a long time, hold on. $400,000 they rent that building per month. That is a private building. It is for the Northwest Regional Health Authority who boasting that they're building the central block. Here the next one, that is a private building. Do you know the government, well, the Northwest Regional Authority, which is government, paid $13 million to outfit a private building? So that building belongs to someone else. The government paid $13 million to outfit it. They will pay $100,000 a month extra for maintenance and $400,000 in rent. That is $500,000 a month. That is where taxpayers' money going. That is why they want to cut pension, take away the people pension. Do not give people pension because you have a little thing in the bank you save. After all your life, you save $25,000 for your whole life. And they want to deny you pension to pay for that building. That is what they are up to. Tonight, we call upon the Northwest Regional Health Authority to come clean and tell us who owns that building. And if they fail to tell you who owns the building, I will tell you who owns the building. Tell us who owned that building and whether the owners had anything to do with the construction of Balize House. You see what happened there? You rent a building. Who owned it? We don't know. Well, we know, but we're not willing to tell yet. And you don't know what other role they play. Who are they? $400,000 per month. And that is a scandal of the highest order. While they're boasting about Central Block and so on. That is what they're doing. So brothers and sisters, we have arrived at a great moment in our history when it is Mrs. Kamla Prasad-Bessessar who has answered the call to serve Trinidad and Tobago as head of government. When she was there last time, there's a unique part. There is great history this year. I'll explain. There's great history. 2025 comes 15 years after 2010, correct? I passed maths, by the way. I have a 1 in ordinary level, CXC maths. I must say that. You could check the books on that one. So 15 years after, do you know the children who Mrs. Prasad-Bessessar gave laptops to will now vote for her in the general elections 2025? The thousands and thousands of children who received laptops, who got support from GATE, so they could extend their higher level education and so on. They are now called upon to support Kamla Prasad-Bessessar, who gave them that opportunity. They are called upon. So Mrs. Bessessar is coming around now as the leader who gave the education, gave the equipment, and today will receive the privilege, the benefit, and the blessing of their support. It's a great moment in history. So don't listen to Stuart Young and that rubbish. Let me say briefly, Mrs. Prasad-Bessessar is a seasoned, experienced politician. Where this country has reached now, economic collapse, social decay, energy sector has collapsed completely, joblessness, poverty, man, you name it, every problem we face here. Go on, don't talk about crime.
Mr. Speaker,
you need a leader with experience, with expertise, with a track record, with the skill, who has demonstrated leadership. And of the two of them, it only have one leader with the track record, one leader with the experience, one leader with the expertise, and one leader with the compassion. And that is Kamla Prasad-Bessessar. We have to go that way. What is Stuart Young? I could give you example whole night. Did you all remember it was March 2020, I believe, when 35 Trinidadian nationals were locked out this country. I think many of them were teachers. They were locked out. They went to Barbados like vagrant. They went to Barbados begging for a place to stay, for food, for water. Stuart Young, that fella without a heart, lock out Trinidadian nationals. You all remember the government of Barbados begged Stuart Young, open the gate, open the airport, let your nationals come back. He denied those people the right to come back to their country. And when he was doing that, the Delcy lady Rodriguez, vice president, who is banned, who is sanctioned from America, they opened the airport for she to come here and then lie to say they didn't know. But our nationals, our citizens, our mothers, our fathers, you banned them and had them in Barbados begging a foreign government for housing, begging a foreign government for food and water. My friends, I want to tell you something. On that alone, that fella must never see the Prime Minister office one day after the 28th. Never. for what he has done. Look at our team. Look at our team of candidates. Brilliant people with experience, academic qualifications, skills. Speak very, very well. I mean, I used to tell people when Barry finished talk, I used to feel kind of a little scared talking after, you know, because of the power of his delivery and his aggression. Tonight, look, I had to hear the dragon, firepower. I had to hear Khadija. When Khadija finished, I wanted to quietly get up and go home. I said, but who could speak after such a fiery and powerful delivery? This is the platform we have. This is the passion, the knowledge, the experience. We have the best team to lead this country, and you haven't seen all yet. You haven't seen all yet. We have the team, a team that is superior to Stuart Young's team. So you have to give us the chance. We have to return and save this country. Every sector we have to have a rescue plan, and we will reveal much more plans. But don't forget, don't let people chain you up. Saying the UNC not ready and the UNC not ready. They limit that, I can't use the word, but that is hogwash. Right? Hogwash. I will say that, I could use that word. We have been campaigning and outlining policies for 10 long years. Man, every Monday night, Mrs. Prasad-Bessessar standing up talking. Then she sit down talking. Then she talk while she walking.
Watching us in which
Only
band?
policy, program, plans. We have been doing this for 10 years, and in the last few years, you remember all those opposition leaders, Monday night symposia, where we outline policy in education, in crime, several areas, health, and so on. We have the plans. Don't let people tell you we're not ready. We're ready. We have the media. We took control there. We have the people. Look at the people assembled here. I mean, I don't want to continue too long, but like, I don't want to go home. I mean, we have to go home sometime. Huh? So, brothers and sisters, we have the team to lead this country. We clearly have the political leader. Clearly, when she led this country, it was with distinction. She led this country with charm. I mean, this is a woman who could charm a cobra snake. Huh? I mean, she has that. I mean, you could compare her to Stuart Young. That fella has the charm of Hannibal Lecter. The cannibal. He has the charm of Hannibal Lecter. The fella has, as the Express said, he's charisma free. He has no sizable personality. A political leader is someone who must have some type of charisma, some type of, pull, some ability to motivate people, to lift people. You could see Stuart Young delivering a speech in Constantine Park to the PNM, 20,000 people or whatever. That fella cannot talk to 10 people. He cannot. So brothers and sisters, the case is made. The case is made that the UNC has the superior team. This is the time when the UNC wins, everybody wins. When the UNC wins. And do not take on those detractors and dissidents and so on. They want to tell you this one resigned. A fella resigned from somewhere deep south. I in this party 34 years and I don't know he. And he resigned. I said, but when did you apply? I 34 years in this party. I don't know he. And he resigned. Who is he? But they make news. They make news. The next one, I had to talk to Rafi Ratiram there. I think he's in charge of the membership. It has something called special members in this party. I didn't know that. A fella resigned. No office. He has no office. He has no portfolio. He has nothing. He do nothing. They make papers. He resigned. He resigned from what? What did he resign from? The janitorial services? What did he resign from? They say he could fly away on one. But brothers and sisters, do not take them kind of chain up from people. We are ready. We are ready, and we are ready to support our political leader. We are ready to support all our candidates in the coming days. Brothers and sisters, we must walk. We must talk. We must mobilize. We must agitate. We must be ready at a moment's notice for everything, every eventuality. I keep on reminding people, because I have been on this compound for a long time, I have the benefit of a little wisdom. Huh, Richard? I have a little wisdom. We will have massive crowds, take it from me. I know what's going to happen here. We will have massive crowds. We will have thousands and thousands of people at our meeting, take it from me. When you go to a UNC meeting, you're lucky if you get a chair to sit down on. We'll have thousands, too much people we'll have. People do not win elections that way. Organization wins elections. Structure wins election. Your work on the street, in the community, in your household, that wins election. People just lose election by 2 votes. And when they check in their house, 2 adult children didn't vote. That's how you just lose it. We have to ensure that we do the scientific work. We calculate our efforts in every community, every street, every village, every city. That is what will win. So tonight we appeal to all of you and those who are listening to join us. Join your UNC candidate. Join all of the UNC candidates and the UNC family to have the biggest mobilization this country has ever seen in our history as we march forward towards recapturing the government of Trinidad and Tobago. My brothers and sisters, whether it's Rowley or Young is irrelevant. 2 of them is the same side of the same coin. One is, they are both the bullies of this time. And do not allow Stuart Young to bully Trinidad and Tobago. And I will say in closing, I know, I listen, I'm not deaf. I just listen in Parliament. Stuart Young comes from a particular DNA. And I use that word outside of medical sense. A political DNA, let's put it this way, a political DNA. I have seen him and heard him in Parliament. I have been there 24 years. In Parliament, we have what is called pikong, banter. When somebody is talking, you give them a little heckle. You say something about what they are saying. You attack what they are saying. You could tell a fella, hey, you're talking rubbish there, man. What stupid point is that you're making? You know, you could find a way with banter. It's called banter. It's called pikong. When these guys speak, they are personal in their attacks. They attack you for how you look, for how you sound, for the clothes you wear, for what you like or you don't like. That is how they behave. That has had no, before Stuart Young came to this Parliament, that had no place in Parliament. People will give a banter and then we'll meet in the corridor and say hello. We will have tea together. There was a time when both sides used to play cricket, you know, literally, you know. We played cricket when Mrs. Prasad-Bessessar was Prime Minister. We had a cricket match. Government and opposition played the judiciary. Tim Gopi Singh was the captain. I won't say how the match went. So brothers and sisters, we had that camaraderie. When they came with dirtiness, with nastiness. That is how they rule. So we have to put an end to that. So brothers and sisters, I will leave you tonight by indicating that it's a great moment in our history. We have arrived at a great juncture when we will reclaim our country. Tonight I say to all of you, rally together, band together, and work with Mrs. Kamla Prasad-Bessessar, our UNC colleagues, to return the UNC to government. Long live the United National Congress. Long live the great people of St. Augustine. Long live our struggle for unity, equality. Brothers and sisters, I thank you. Love you all.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. When UNC wins, Trinbago wins. Trinbago wins. Everybody wins. Everybody wins.
St. Augustine, I don't want it to go nowhere yet. We have a little entertainment. All in St. Augustine, I want all it to relax.